2 months slipped by. Robin spent them quietly, teaching Zara how to draw, learning alongside her, and spending stretches of time in secluded cultivation. His research sessions sometimes lasted days, and by the end of those 2 months, he'd advanced to the 5th level. Theo was deep in closed-door meditation, exploring the major heavenly law of darkness. With him gone, most of the household responsibilities fell to Peon. He fetched food, restocked supplies, and handled the family's resource rations. Oddly, the extra work helped him settle in. The longer he served Robin, the clearer it became that his master harbored no ill intentions toward his sister. Realizing that, Peon finally put down his fear and served with genuine loyalty. But today was different. Everyone was tense. The entire institution buzzed with anticipation. It was the promised day. A year ago, Remus had mocked one of Robin's followers in public, and Robin, uncharacteristically furious, declared that Lady Mila was his guardian and that his younger brother, Caesar, would challenge Remus and his entire group in 1 year. The moment Mila's name got involved, rumors exploded across the institution. Within days, everyone had heard about it. It also gave Robin's group an unexpected peace. No one dared touch them for the rest of the year. Now, every student was waiting to see the outcome, or more precisely, how brutally Caesar would be beaten. Even Lady Mila herself had heard. Her reaction had been sharp and cold. He dares to use my name to buy himself a year? Let's see if he still smiles after his brother loses a limb. I won't intervene. Robin had clearly gotten under her skin during their last meeting. For reasons she couldn't quite explain, he made her feel small, and this was her chance to pay him back. Knock, knock, knock. Caesar. Robin's calm voice came through the door. Are you ready? The door opened for the first time in 10 months. Caesar stepped out, a gleaming new halberd in one hand and the broken piece of his old weapon in the other. He was taller now, his face sharper, his aura heavier, 8th level heavy. From an ordinary mortal to level 8 in just a year and a half. The oppressive energy radiating off him made Peon, standing nearby, flinch and take a step back. He had delivered Caesar's food for months, but never realized what kind of power had been growing behind that door. Ready, Caesar said simply. Robin nodded. Good. Don't disgrace me. Don't disgrace the major heavenly law of fire. And don't disgrace yourself. Then he turned and walked out. Caesar followed behind him, and Peon trailed after. Theo remained in seclusion. Zara stayed behind with her sketchbook. The main arena of Bradley's military institution was already packed. A circular platform, 50 meters wide, surrounded by stone stands that held nearly 1,000 spectators. Professors often demonstrated their techniques here. Sometimes even the headmaster himself gave lectures on this stage. But today it would host something far simpler and far more dangerous. Student duels were usually friendly exchanges. Serious injury was forbidden. The school didn't want angry nobles storming the gates. But in rare cases, when a formal contract was signed releasing the institution from responsibility, real grudges could be settled here. This was one of those cases. The head of the institution had half expected Lady Mila to intervene and cancel the fight. He even sent a messenger to her estate. Her reply was short. That little fool hasn't begged for mercy yet. Let him lose an arm first, then stop the fight. And so the duel proceeded. Lady Mila sent only her uncle, Brown, to observe. He sat beside the headmaster in the seats of honor, close enough to stop the battle if needed. By now, the stands were full. Professors, students, even guards and servants, all murmuring with excitement. A referee stood on stage, holding the signed contract that absolved the institution of blame. Everything was ready. Remus walked out first, his voice booming. I'm honored that everyone came to witness my humble fight. I promise not to disappoint you. But the silence that greeted him was deafening. The crowd didn't care about him. They were waiting for her name, or perhaps his brother's. Behind Remus came his group, 4 young men and 3 women, all noble-born, none beneath a barren child. They strode onto the platform, feigning confidence. But beneath the surface, every one of them was uneasy. Using Lady Mila's name in a student duel wasn't something you got away with easily. Then the referee's voice rang out. It looks like the challengers have arrived. Robin Burton and his brother, Caesar. The words died halfway out of his mouth. Uncle Brown's eyes widened. The headmaster froze. Then the shock rippled outward. Professors, students, guards, until the entire arena was whispering in disbelief. "What's going on?" a younger student asked. His senior's voice trembled. "Caesar, he's at the 8th level." The words hit like thunder. Impossible. He was just a mortal last year. 8 levels in a year and a half. That's monstrous. 13 years old. That's faster than Lady Mila herself. The crowd erupted. Some professors stood up from their seats. Even the referee's hand shook. Only Caesar remained calm. He raised his halberd and slammed its butt into the stage. The impact sent a low vibration through the air, silencing everyone instantly. Then he stepped forward, aura flaring, a heat so dense it distorted the air around him. A professor whispered, almost reverently, that aura shouldn't belong to someone below level 10. Another murmured, "My God, are we witnessing the birth of an absolute genius?" "What?" The word rippled through the stands like a shockwave. Even the headmaster's box fell silent. What Caesar had just declared was beyond outrageous. Everyone knew the rule. Unless you reached the 10th level, studying the heavenly laws was a waste of time. Before that, your mind and body couldn't comprehend them. Even prodigies avoided it until their foundation was ready. Trying earlier was like staring at the sun. You gained nothing but blindness. But Caesar had just said he could use one. That meant he'd grasped at least 60% of a law's first stage, something even seasoned experts took years to achieve. A chill ran through the crowd. Training for a year and a half. At level 8, and already mastering a heavenly law's foundation, one thought echoed in every mind. Monster. Remus's face twisted. You liar. It's impossible. Even if you knew a law, it'd be the weakest scrap. You wouldn't dare use it against me. Caesar's voice was calm, almost bored. "We'll find out when you attack." "Why you, Hiya?" Remus lunged, his sword flaring with hot sparks. Caesar didn't move until the last second. Then he lifted his halberd. A white flame burst to life around it, expanding into a 2-meter circle that scorched the ground bare. Stone cracked. The air itself shimmered and burned. Then the fire drew inward, climbing the halberd shaft until it coated the blade in a silent, glowing white light, like a candle that could burn the world. The crowd gasped. It was the same mysterious glow they'd seen in his last duel, but slower this time, clearer, more terrifying. Even Remus hesitated. Then pride shoved fear aside, and he came crashing down with a roar. Caesar swung. Boom! The explosion shook the arena. Heat rolled into the stands, forcing the referee to raise an emergency barrier. The air sizzled like molten metal. For 3 long seconds, the weapons clashed. To Remus, it felt like eternity. His sword, his family-forged, mana-hardened sword, was melting. His hair curled from the heat. His eyebrows smoked. He hadn't even touched the white flame directly, yet it felt like his body was on fire. I cultivate the fire path. How can I be burning? Even his sparks, his fire, vanished on contact with Caesar's white flame. It was as if the flame devoured fire itself. Impossible! Remus screamed and leapt back. Too late. Caesar swung again. Once, twice. The halberd carved through the air like divine judgment. Remus's sword snapped in half. The next strike grazed his chest. His armor vaporized. Skin peeled and blackened. Aoarg! Stop! Get away from me! Remus collapsed, clutching his chest. Caesar planted his halberd in the ground and gestured silently. Peon understood and tossed him the 2 broken halves of his old halberd, the same one Remus had shattered and used to torture Theo. Caesar caught the jagged piece and walked forward. Remus's voice cracked. "Why, you wouldn't dare. I'm the son of Marquis Rufus. If you break the contract, you'll—" "I haven't forgotten," Caesar said, smiling darkly. "I can't kill you. I can't cripple you." He stepped closer. "But there are other options." Remus's eyes went wide. "Help! Somebody stop him." No one moved. Not the students. Not the professors. Not even the referee. Everyone stayed frozen, afraid to make Caesar their enemy. The The referee looked toward Headmaster Felix Bradley for guidance. Felix met his gaze and silently shook his head. The message was clear: don't interfere. Caesar reached down, seized Remus by the throat, and lifted him off the ground. His voice dropped to a growl. Bullying is fun, isn't it? Maybe I'd have let it go if it were only me. But you made one mistake. He leaned closer, eyes blazing. You hurt my brother. With a brutal thrust, Caesar drove the broken halberd up Remus's backside. Hey, ha, ha. Remus's scream tore through the arena before he blacked out from the pain. Oomph. Caesar spat beside the fallen noble and yanked the weapon free. Then he turned and walked back to stand behind Robin, as calm as if nothing had happened. Robin sighed. You know, you could have just asked him for 10,000 gold coins instead. Caesar blinked. But you told me you'd make me strong enough to stick the halberd up his ass. Robin pinched the bridge of his nose. It was a metaphor, Caesar. A metaphor. He shrugged. Oh, whatever. Let's go. He turned away from the stunned arena, his brother and Peon following. Just before stepping out, Robin looked back toward the stands. I hope my little brother, Caesar Burton, was entertaining enough for you all. Laughter, cold and effortless, echoed behind him as they walked out. The audience sat frozen. Even in whispers, everyone could hear their brief exchange. Why does that monster act so obedient to his brother? He said, You told me you'd make me strong. What did he mean? No one dared approach house number 207 again. Some swore to never even walk down that street. And among the silent crowd, one girl stood in the shadows, beautiful, frowning, her gaze fixed on Robin's back as he left. Lady Mila.
Hey everyone, Firescale Audiobooks here. If there's a novel you'd love to hear more of, you can support us on Patreon or Ko-fi. Depending on your tier, I'll make extra parts just for the stories you're most excited about. Usually I can only upload 4 to 5 parts of each novel, but with your support we can go beyond that. And of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. It helps more than you know.
Big brother, why did you tell me to do my best? The reactions of those spectators made me feel uneasy. I'm afraid today's events will not go unnoticed, said Caesar as he walked behind Robin. Don't worry, everything is under control, Robin replied firmly. I need you on another urgent mission. What is it? Just say it and consider it done, said Caesar, hitting his chest with his hand. Take Peon and go clean house number 208. Burn the trash we don't need, and if you find treasures or anything of value inside, distribute them between you and the rest. It's time to get the hell out of my house and give me some peace. Then today we are moving. You will have your peace, don't worry. I want to see who can take something from us again. Not much passed before they reached the residential area, but when they approached their house, they found someone standing in front of him with a chariot being tried by mighty horses. It was Uncle Brown, Mr. Caesar. Lady Mila wants to meet you. Please follow me. Caesar did not answer him and looked at Robin, waiting to tell him what to do, when he heard him saying, Lady Mila is our protector, and it is only natural to show her at least this amount of respect. Let's go. Peon, you clean the trash alone. Then he gestured for Peon to head towards house 208 as he stood smiling at Uncle Brown. His actions left Brown Bradley quite surprised. The invitation was explicitly addressed to Caesar only, but he restrained himself from saying anything further. Caesar's actions are clear. He was very attached to this big brother of his. Brown Bradley could only sigh. Okay then. Get in the chariot. We'll leave immediately. The distance between the institution and Lady Mila's manor was about 10 minutes. Then Uncle Robin led the two of them to the same spacious hall from before, but this time they found a sexy, beautiful, mature woman sitting in the middle of it. Caesar Burton, when I first saw you here, I thought you were a side character. Who would have thought you were the real star? Come on, I think we should remake our relationship, Mila said with a big smile and pointed toward the empty seat right in front of her. Before anyone could say another word, the door slammed open and entered a burly man with an aura that left everyone suffocated. Ha, Mila. Looks like you found a real gem for us this time. Oh, Dad. Mila frowned slightly. This was Galen Bradley, the current head of the Bradley family and the absolute ruler of the duchy. Galen Bradley scanned everyone in the room quickly before stopping at Caesar and smiled. This aura cannot be produced by an ordinary 8th-level cultivator. Good, very good. Galen advanced and patted Caesar on the shoulder twice, then went to sit on the main chair and pointed to Caesar to sit on the third and last chair. But to his surprise, Caesar did not listen to his command, but looked at his brother in silence, waiting for him to tell him what to do. This was the first time that Galen noticed the presence of Robin in the room. While Galen was about to ask Brown to escort Robin out, he was surprised that Robin moved on his own and sat on the third chair, while Caesar stood silently behind him. This move angered the Duke greatly, who asked to sit down. You seem to have a little misunderstanding, Your Majesty. Believe me, the one you want to sit here is me, not my brother, Robin said with a smile. I want a young man who has shown talent and strength that makes him the #1 genius of the kingdom. Is that you? Galen replied sarcastically. If it weren't for Caesar, he would have smacked Robin dead by now. No, but I made him. What do you mean exactly? Your Majesty, someone like you sure has a lot of work to do. So let's speak frankly. The reason Lady Mila invited us here, and the reason you came here yourself, isn't to meet the talented young man, but to make Caesar hand over the details of what he showed in the fight, right? Hell, you're weak, but at least you're not stupid, yeah. I want the white candle, or whatever that was. But you won't have it. And want you to tell me what I can or cannot do. Galen roared. This little boy is really a master provocateur. Me? Just a mad scientist, I suppose. But I'm not someone from the streets. I'm a son of the Burton family of the Duchy of Alton. Mila interjected. Don't you dare use that card. Your family doesn't even know you're here. If your relationship is good, why did you come asking for shelter? Galen laughed in anger. Huh? Ha ha. Are you threatening me with a family that barely holds an earldom? Do you understand the difference between a duke and an earl? To answer your question first, Lady Mila, more than 1,000 people have seen what Caesar can do and heard his name quite loudly from me. What happened today will spread like wildfire in no time. I don't rule out that those from the Burton family have already heard Caesar's name while we are talking here. As for why I came here and didn't return directly to my family, it wasn't because we have a grudge, but because I don't like the idea of being at the mercy of anyone. But you're at our mercy now. Mila narrowed her eyes, clearly still not understanding where he was getting at. No, my lady, perhaps a few hours ago, I would have been at your mercy, but not anymore. Not after the name of my greatest achievement Caesar Burton has spread. What's a duke and an earl? Caesar has shown peerless talent. Even a brainless idiot would know that Caesar would at least become sage. Making a move against us would be a crime against a future powerhouse. It's a crime against the Duchy of Alton and against all the Black Sun Kingdom. The Burtons may be nothing to you, but what about the Altons? The Altons? You shameless thing. Do they even know you? You think they would care if you and your brother disappeared today? It has nothing to do with blood relations and vengeance. It's about politics. It always is, isn't it? The Duchy of Alton will work with the Burtons and have justice on their side. They will take advantage of the situation to get the approval of the royal family and other duchies to impose penalties on you or even take the opportunity to take your lands and titles. If we go back to our family, they will take advantage of us. If you keep us here for the white candle, then they will take advantage of you. It's as simple as that. It won't matter whose blood they will suck. This is human nature. Trust me, any kind of move against me would be extremely unwise. Galen went silent for a few seconds. So you used us to escape your family's control, and now you're using your family to... That's right, Your Majesty. I'm just balancing the scales. A training ground, for example, or something similar. Mila was surprised by the question and replied, Yes, I have. Excellent. Let's go then. Then Robin stood up and looked at the Duke, waiting for his reply. All right, let's see what you got. The Duke rose and led the way toward the training ground. This training ground was meant for bodyguards, or more precisely, the personal troops of Mila Bradley. The training ground was attached to Mila's house, so they quickly arrived, an area of about 100 square meters, backed with about 500 fighters whose strength ranged from 6 to 10. This force is actually very good for an elite troop. Normal armies are usually made up of people at levels between 3 to 5. Clear the area at once, Mila shouted, In complete silence, the 500 soldiers left whatever they were doing and lined up in two parallel rows to one side within moments, causing Robin to whistle. Good discipline. Oomph. Just do what you want to do quickly. Haha. Well, Mr. Duke, I advise you to keep your eyes on this piece of hide. Robin passed some energy into it. This made the soft piece of hide become so hard that it could be used as a knife, then threw it to the middle of the field. Everyone had their eyes on the piece of hide, both Gallon and Milla, Uncle Brown, and the soldiers. Even Caesar didn't know what this was. Suddenly Robin made a hand gesture. Boom! A huge explosion took place in the middle of the field. Some soldiers took a step back, while everyone opened their eyes to the extreme. Even Milla covered her mouth with her hands. What was this? How could such energy be stored within just a piece of rabbit hide? The explosion can be compared to a full attack from a person at the 6th level. But those of the 6th level can't use the laws to attack. You are right, and the damaged area is much bigger than what a 6th level fighter can achieve. Right, a single piece of skin can seriously kill or seriously injure more than 20 soldiers at the same time. Uncle Brown and even senior officials and elite army commanders roared in the training area. Whatever we have just seen is something new to the world. You're right, boy. It looks like that you really are the creator of that white candle. But why do you think that piece of skin can compensate me for claiming the white candle technique? It is really strange and new, but the explosion is barely equal to the full attack power of a 6th level person, said the Duke as he tried to suppress his excitement as much as possible. Whatever the outcome of today's meeting, he found himself a gold mine. At this moment, he felt like he was hit by a thunderbolt, unless... Looks like you figured it out already. I see you're not a duke out of the blue. Indeed, I can mass-produce this kind of hide. You can sell them to the sons of countless nobles, or you can use them to strengthen your army and expand your lands. Whatever you do with it, it will reward you with much, much more than getting a single white candle technique from me. The Duke's eyes were starting to shine with stars. This is far better than he expected. Indeed, the sons of the nobles are large in number, and their fathers will not be stingy in buying something like this for them. And if his army was equipped with enough quantity of these hides, what would they look like in the battle? If 50 of them were thrown at an 18th level cultivator, what would happen? He saw Robin makes a gesture with his hand before the hide detonated. Does that mean it could be used in ambushes? The endless possibilities of using this new weapon began to accelerate in the Duke's head, and with it the blood flowing through his body. Even his body hair began to stand up. He saw a brilliant future waiting for his duchy. How many can you supply me per month, and how much does it cost to produce? I can sell you 100 of these hides per month. The price will be 20 gold coins per one. That's a lot. I could buy a few good slaves for that amount, the Duke shouted. You could buy a 20-coin slave that can kill this many enemy soldiers? Ha, please tell me where can I get those? Just listen to me. The land you gain from your campaigns using my weapon will be more than enough to make up for your expenses. You can even sell some to cover costs while keeping the rest for your army. However you look at it, you won't lose out on this exchange. How do I explain the sudden appearance of these skins when the royal family asks me? Just sell them some hides then, and tell them you've met an independent mad scientist that doesn't want to be known, and that you'll serve as his middleman in the mortal world. But what are you, really? You won't lie. I'm just a crazy scientist. I have one last question. You could have told me that you had a powerful teacher who passed you the technique and even these hides, and I would have believed you and tried to use you to make a relationship with him. Why did you directly admit that you are the inventor? This question was in everyone's head, and they all turned to him waiting for his answer, all but Caesar, who just smiled and shook his head. He knew quite well what his father would say. Why the hell would I attribute my hard work to a fictional character? If you're that stupid and decided to make a move against me despite all of what you saw, then I will just die. This is your loss and the loss of the whole world, not mine. Robin shrugged and gave a loud laugh. The place was silent for a while, then they too burst out laughing. This kid's arrogance knew no bounds, but he was actually right. Okay, well, what's the name of your invention? We won't keep calling them weir hides, are we? Asked Milla. Let's call it talisman. 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 Not bad. This talisman of yours will change the course of future wars. Young man, You have every right to be proud of yourself. Galen patted his shoulder. It's only the beginning, Robin smiled. I have a small request. I hope everything between us remains a secret, at least temporarily. That's normal. Don't worry. No one will utter a word. I promise you this. But what about your family and the Duchy of Alton? I don't want a headache from them. That's easy. I'll just announce that I'm comfortable here at your institution and don't want to leave. As long as I'm being seen in public healthy and kicking, they won't have an excuse to attack you. But, I'll keep a good relationship with my family in case you decide to play any tricks on me. Everyone was surprised by Robin's response. He was talking to the Duke like he was his old classmate. As usual, honest to the point of rudeness. Well then, so be it. Also, you don't need to worry about revenge from Marquis Rufus after what Caesar did to his son. I'll talk to him and end the quarrel once and for all. Excellent. Oh, one more thing. I expect you to raise our allowance to 1,000 gold coins per month. This will help me do more research freely. Arg, all right. Robin nodded, then moved to leave. Caesar followed tightly behind. While everyone was busy in his thoughts, Mila was busy looking towards the back of the teenager walking in front of her. He is neither an ancient sage nor a supernatural being. He is a young man of her age, but he has already contributed to their army far more than she did, and contributed to the progress of the whole world more than all her predecessors combined. Big brother, why did you tell them it was the red rabbit's hide? Can't they now bring similar hides and try to redraw that flame pattern on it? They will surely try to steal your invention, Caesar mentioned worriedly after they got out of Mila's mansion. You mean that flame drawing? Let them do as they please. What makes the talisman special is invisible to the naked eye. That flame drawing was randomly drawn, just a distraction to waste their time on it, and also to differentiate between the types of talismans. Invisible? Can the real pattern ever be discovered? It could. Maybe the Flame Emperor or someone in his bloodline could break the code if he worked on it for some time, but then I'd have moved on to invent something better. Caesar sighed in relief. He was overthinking. How could he have thought of something that his big brother hadn't thought of? When Robin returned, he found Peon has finished cleaning house 208, so he ordered Caesar and Peon to move there. Theo will move when he comes out of his isolation, and that Zara stays with him to continue practicing her drawing, but goes to sleep at house 208 with her brother every evening. After he eventually had some peace in the house, he sat down and started planning his course for the next period. Today's events compressed his schedule a lot, and his previous plan of staying low-key is no longer available, especially after the talismans appear in the first battle. After thinking for a while and getting his subjects in order, he decided to start drawing the talismans required of him for this month. Although the work of the talismans seemed complicated to the Duke and everyone that was present there, it was actually quite simple. All Robin had to do was draw a part of the fire pattern, the part responsible for causing the explosions, then use a trick he devised based on the perfect law of fire to make the pattern disappear inside a piece of skin. The whole process barely requires a few minutes. So, in practice, Robin could make the 100 talismans in 2 or 3 days, but he refused to increase the number he sold to the Duke in order to keep him hungry for more as long as possible. The next few days saw new news spread like wildfire throughout the duchy and quickly found its way all over the kingdom. A super young man named Caesar Burton, 13 years old and at level 8, can jump levels to defeat those at the 10th level easily. The age combined with the high level and the formidable combat power gave Caesar an aura of mystery and prestige. This is the #1 genius of the kingdom's young generation. No, he is the best in the past 2 centuries at least, surpassing even the famous lady Mila Bradley. Then another piece of information that shook the whole kingdom was released. It was confirmed that Caesar was just immortal a year and a half ago. If his first characteristics were enough to make him an absolute genius, this piece of information made him a living legend. Strange rumors and legends began about him while he was sleeping, snoring in house number 208. As it was happening at this moment at the Alton Duchy, I heard that Caesar Burton's mother was a goddess and his father was a demon. Stop your nonsense. There is no such thing. I heard his mother carried him for 5 years and feed him the blood of beasts instead of milk. Wow, really? Hey, who mentioned Burton? What are you talking about? Didn't you hear, brother? There's a guy named Caesar Burton that showed up in the Duchy of Bradley. He's legendary. You know, someone at the 10th level provoked him while he's just a little stronger than a mortal. And what was his response? He set a date for the fight in 1 year. Just 1 year. In the fight, he displayed his crazy cultivation speed and unrivaled combat ability. He defeated his opponent in a ferocious manner, then shoved a damn iron staff in his ass in front of everyone. He's amazing. Everyone got fired up again. They won't get bored of this story until a very long time. No one noticed that the man who asked for Burton's name just now has vanished. That man's name is Jewel Burton. And what he just heard was tremendous news that must be conveyed to the elders of the family immediately. I need to meet the patriarch immediately. I have urgent news. Jewel Burton yelled as he saw the guards in front of a huge building. He had made his way from the tavern to the patriarch's office in a few minutes, but he felt it was years too late. One of the guards looked at him emotionlessly. Does your breaking news have anything to do with Caesar Burton? How did you know? Jules opened his eyes wide. Your urgent news wasn't urgent enough. Go and sit there with your peers. They all brought different news about Caesar before you, said the guard and pointed toward a group of people, about 20 in all. All these. May I ask what the patriarch will do about this? You don't need to worry about this, Jewel. The patriarch is already in a meeting with the council of the family to discuss the news and what to do about it. Go and sit with them. Perhaps the patriarch will summon you. Most of them came with different news. One of them came shouting that a relative of ours slept with a goddess and their descendant was named Caesar. Jewel Burton was surprised, but he did as the guards told him and went to sit quietly with those who preceded him. You all must have heard the news. Do any of you have an opinion? Patriarch Brian Burton said calmly, but there was excitement evident in his old eyes. Uncle, it's probably just a name similarity. If we had someone like that, we would definitely have noticed him from a young age. A middle-aged man said, why not be a bastard that one of the family men gave birth to while on his travels and left him behind? This is really an option. We have thousands of men in our families, and I don't rule out something like this happening. Actually, it's pretty common. Are you saying we just go and recognize him as one of us? What if it's a plot against the family? Who would plot against you by giving you such a genius? You stupid old man. We will not lose anything by just meeting and inquiring more about him. The argument continued among the council members for about half an hour, when the patriarch's voice sounded, Okay, I've heard enough. Let us send an envoy to Caesar Burton to clear the doubt, but that envoy must show enough respect and be strong at the same time. He must show our goodwill and our appreciation for him without showing any weakness on our part. Do any of you have a suitable candidate? Billy. Right. Our best front right now outside of the patriarch is undoubtedly Billy. Everyone nodded their heads. Then it's done. Billy, I expect a detailed report on Caesar Burton in front of me in a couple of weeks. I won't disappoint you. A young-looking man standing at the side of the room bowed and disappeared. Yeah. Turn right a little, and... Good girl. Robin was overjoyed. Zara was able to draw her first talisman just 5 days after his meeting with the Duke, although she was not part of the drawing of the original copy. Watching Robin draw the 100 talismans in a row, in addition to her strong soul and her training in drawing during the past months, it made the pattern drawing very simple. Although it took about half an hour to draw the pattern, and she couldn't finally hide it inside the piece of hide, this still made Robin quite happy. Maybe her ability didn't help him now, but she will definitely be of great help in the future. As he praised Zara, a voice echoed outside. I'm Billy Burton of the Burton family in the Duchy of Alton. I have come to convey the family's greetings to the young Caesar Burton and have the honor of meeting him. Billy. Robin was surprised and jumped toward his window to find his old friend standing in front of house number 208. With one look, he could determine Billy's level. 21. This is an excellent level for a young man who is still a century and a half old. With his original talent, he was supposed to never reach this level in his lifetime. Billy, it's been too long. Hurry up and come in. Robin waved from his window at his old friend. who, in turn, was astonished when he heard his name called in such a friendly way. Who might know him in the Duchy of Bradley? But when he turned his head and saw someone waving to him in the window of the next house. You, 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 you. He took 2 steps back, but then took 3 forward and narrowed his eyes in confusion as if he was still trying to decide whether what he was seeing was real. Haha, come here, you little bastard. It's been all these years since we met, but you will stay there and look at me? You, Rob. No, that's unreasonable. You're a kid. You haven't turned 14 yet. Even as a saint, Billy couldn't control his feelings now. Just come and let us continue our conversation properly. Caesar, buy some good wine and come too. Caesar, who had already opened the door, nodded. Yes, big brother. Then he hurriedly ran towards the establishment's restaurant. Billy watched the young man who was running in front of him after one command from Robin. Is this the Caesar the kingdom is talking about? Everything happened quickly, and Billy could not comprehend anything, but decided to go to that boy who pretended to know him and wait for Caesar to come back. Come sit down. How have you been all these years? Robin smiled and asked. Hey, don't try to confuse me. You do look like someone I know, but that person is probably an old man or maybe dead now. Billy looked sad when he mentioned his friend. I wouldn't have died so quickly. When we parted, I told you to send a message to the patriarch that I would go training. I didn't say I was going to commit suicide. A message? Are you really Robin? Billy stood dumbfounded. And who else? Robin chuckled. Robin. Billy came up and hugged him tightly, then left him and began to look carefully at his face. What happened to you? How is it possible that your body hasn't gotten old? No, it's gotten a year younger. I found a good beauty cream for my skin. Would you like some for your ass? Said Robin. His cheeks were still held tight in Billy's hand. This is not a topic you can joke about. At least tell me what happened to your cultivation. You were at the 10th level when you are now at the 5th. Don't waste your time with questions you won't like its answer then. I can't tell you what happened to me. Just know that I'm Robin in blood and flesh. Can't you even tell me where you have been all these years? I have worried about you so much. The patriarch still sighs and shakes his head when your name is mentioned before him. They finally calmed down and returned to sit in front of Robin. I told him that I would go out to study the heavenly laws, and that is exactly what happened. Billy was about to ask more questions when the door was opened and Caesar came in with a bottle of wine. Excuse me, Robin, I have a job to finish. After I'm done, we will continue our talk. Then he rose from his sitting, picked up the bottle from Caesar's hand, and placed it on the table. Mr. Caesar, please don't trouble yourself. I've come from afar to talk to you for a bit. Do you mind if I take a few minutes of your time? Caesar looked at him from top to bottom, then moved quietly and stood behind Robin. I don't know who you are. If you want something, talk to my big brother about it. What? Since when do you have a little brother? Billy was surprised by this development and turned to Robin. Well, technically he's my adopted son, but it would be weird for him to call me daddy when I'm in this shape, no? Robin chuckled. Your adopted son. The young man who shocked the whole kingdom is. Your adopted son. Hey, why so surprised? It's not like I've never done the same thing when I was his age. An apple doesn't fall far from the tree, haha. Heck, really, the Burton family is fortunate to have you as their son, but unfortunate at the same time. Robin, why are you here at Bradley's institution? Is this your way to stay away from us? What have we done to you to deserve this? And do I understand that Caesar will walk the same path you chose and have nothing to do with us? Billy shook his head and sat down. He's already given up on his mission. Why are you talking like I've given up on the family? Haven't you? Of course not. I just wanted to live my life my way and leave my mark in the world's history. Now that I've done what I wanted, I don't see a problem with reconnecting with the family, but you better forget that my surname is Burton before that happens. Robin said, What do you mean by your words? Am I not clear enough? Robin's cheerful smile disappeared and turned serious. I mean, I will help you as a partner. I don't want someone to come and talk to me about family love and bullshit to try to take more benefits from me. Depending on my mood and my satisfaction with your actions, I will make my own decisions. I can only give you a promise that I will think about the family first if I have more than one choice. Billy was starting to get agitated with his old friend. Has the solitude of all these years affected his mind? With all due respect, What makes you think you qualify for such a relationship? Billy contained his anger and asked calmly. Robin didn't speak anymore. He just gestured to Zara to go pick something. Everyone waited until she came back with two talismans, one red with a flame logo and the number 6 written inside it, and the other was more dark-colored with a black ball logo and 5s written inside the black ball. Billy was looking at both talismans the moment Zara walked in. His features quickly turned intense. These hides contain energy inside them. Robin picked up the two talismans from Zara and threw them at Billy. Take these two and go to an empty area outside the city. Make sure you are all alone. Then all you have to do is pass your energy inside and do these seals until the power is activated. Then Robin taught him to seal the fire talisman and the darkness talisman. With your current strength, I trust that you will not be late. So let our conversation stop at this point until you return. Robin then pointed towards the exit. Billy didn't know what this was, but it seemed important. He didn't say a word and silently disappeared. Pour the wine, you ungrateful thing. Did you bring it for us to watch? Robin shouted at Caesar, coming, after the time it took for Robin and Caesar to drink 2 glasses. What was this? What the hell was that? A frightened voice came from outside as Billy quickly appeared before them, sweating, with burn marks on his clothes and eyebrows. How was it? Robin chuckled. Bastard, why didn't you tell me to throw the red skin away before activating the seal? Haha, that way you can better judge its power. With your level, you won't be hurt too much, right? Now tell me, what do you think? It's awesome. The red skin produces an explosion with the power of a level 6 cultivator, but the explosive firepower and a wide range can be put into various uses, especially since it can be activated remotely with a hand seal. It can be used in traps or sold to youngsters to protect themselves. No, even saints can carry it, using it to distract the enemy or deal a final blow to the opponent if both of them are about to die. But the black one, it hit me for 5 whole seconds. With my speed, I could do a lot in 5 seconds now. Even 1 second would be enough for an assassination attempt or a surprise attack. How is it possible that you have such things? Billy couldn't control himself. His mind hadn't fully comprehended what had just happened yet. This kind of technology wasn't supposed to exist yet. These were the talismans of fire and darkness, little toys I made recently. What do you think, Billy? Do you think I am qualified for a partnership with the family? Now Billy just thinks of him seriously. Just a partnership? In exchange for a few darkness talismans, the patriarch himself would be willing to personally kiss your ass. Literally. How many talismans can you produce of the 2 types in a year, and how much for one? Billy didn't have many expectations. If he told him he'd make one of them in a few years, he'd never doubt. Those things were way ahead of their time. A year? I made a deal with the Duke of Bradley to sell him 100 fire talismans a month at 20 gold coins each. But since you're my family, I'll give you some preference. How about 150 fire runes a month at 15 gold coins? Billy swallowed his saliva hard when he heard this. He couldn't believe what he just heard. These talismans could be mass-produced at such a low price. Passed on this, the family can circulate talismans to their own army and use them in wars. A year from today, they will have 1,800 fire talismans. If these things appear on the battlefield, the dream of upgrading the family's lands and title is no longer a dream. Billy took a breath to calm himself, then asked, what about the darkness talismans? That's the problem. Dark runes are so much more difficult and cost me so much more to make. Even Duke Galen Bradley doesn't know they exist yet. Robin started rubbing his forehead. Billy got so nervous. Those darkness talismans would definitely be much more beneficial to the higher-level cultivators than the fire talismans. I think I can provide 5 talismans a month of this kind, and each one will cost 100 gold coins. What do you say? What dash? Deal. Billy almost jumped out of his place. Even 1 or 2 talismans in his lifetime would have been enough to make him happy. But Robin offered 60 per year, and cheaply too. This is literally buying a chance to assassinate high-ranking officers of the enemy armies with only 100 coins. We have a deal then. All right, you came for Caesar. Tell me honestly, what exactly does the family want from him? You can rest assured now. He's your adopted son. How can we try taking him from you? These talismans are more than enough to put you in a very high position in the family, and no one will try to make things difficult for you or him. Billy promised. Just tell me what the offer is. If he were of our blood, I would offer him protection and resources in return for fighting under the Burton family banner. I agree. Billy couldn't believe what he heard. I said I agree. Caesar will benefit nothing from sitting next to me with his hands on his cheek. Take him with you, give him a good and steady allowance, enroll him into competitions, and throw him at dangerous zones. It's even better to get him into some wars to make a name for himself and increase his experience. But this is under the condition that you do not lose sight of him even for a second. Billy, if my boy gets killed or maimed while he's with you, you won't like my reaction. Robin said seriously, a strange threat to come from a fifth-level teenager. But after seeing what the talismans could do, Billy had to take him seriously. All right, count on me. We will appoint one of our great uncles to protect him all the time. If they all refuse, I will protect him personally. This was no small promise. Billy was a strong candidate to be the next patriarch and was assigned many important tasks and is running a huge section of the family's business. The patriarch would not allow him to quit all of his work to run after Caesar around, so he would probably appoint someone stronger than Billy to take over. Good. I see we have no problems then. Caesar, this is Billy Burton. He's my cousin and my friend, and that makes him your uncle. He'll take you with him to the Burton family to expand your horizons. Obey his instructions. Yes. Caesar nodded unwillingly. Good. I'm looking forward to some epic news about you then. All right, Billy, keep the talismans a secret for now. You can only tell the patriarch and the most important old men in the family, and you're not allowed to reveal it in wars either until I say otherwise. What? What? This world shall know its existence at the right time. It would stare quite a storm when it appears for the first time. I'm not prepared yet. Leave me some time to enjoy the peace while it lasts, will you? Robin chuckled. As you wish then. Billy nodded. Do you have other instructions? Just send any random uncle I know every first month to receive the talismans and give me my money. Okay, I understand. Let's go, Caesar. Billy stood up, but paused before turning around and leaving. He heard wait. He turned around to face Robin. Is there something else? How'd he die? Finally, Robin found enough courage to ask. Billy immediately understood who he was asking about. It's his father. That guy was already old when Robin left, and with his talent, it was granted that he would never advance to level 11. It is impossible for him to stay alive for so long. He started a bar fight about 40 years ago over a few coins and got stabbed repeatedly to death. It suits him, I guess, said Robin with mixed emotions. Do you want to know about your mother, half-brothers, and sisters? No need. I already know what I need to know. You can leave now. Robin, you've changed a lot, but I think it's a change for the better. I'm happy for you, stated Billy, then walked out of the house quietly, and Caesar followed him closely after cuddling Robin one last time. Have I changed? Maybe this has always been my personality. I just didn't find enough strength or passion to show it. What do you think, Zara? The standing girl shrugged and extended her lower lip. Equals 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 equals. Over the following days, Robin was busy helping Zara make talismans day and night. He wanted to finish the orders for the next few months and have them ready for delivery on the first of each month so that he wouldn't bother with them again. 20 days passed quickly, and the first order was delivered to the two families, and the orders for the next 5 months were already prepared. On that day, when he finished the last talisman, he summoned Peon. Peon, I am currently free and I want to explore more laws of the world, so I decided to start making a technique for another major law. Which major law do you want? Me. Peon's eyes, under his mask, opened completely. Would he be able to carry the same strength he had seen for Caesar? The strength that made him famous throughout the kingdom? Yes, but choose quickly. I will begin my seclusion at once. I've always been fond of the path of the wind, Byun said. The wind? Really? You could choose any law in existence, but you settled on the wind? Robin exclaimed. I heard that the Wind Emperor is very fast and can generate storms when angered. He was my hero when I was young. Peon stated while scratching his head. You're from the Lying Water Kingdom. I expected that you would ask for the water major law, or at least say that you admire the water emperor. But the wind? Haha, interesting. Never mind. The wind isn't bad either. I will get it for you. Robin put his hand on his shoulder and went to his room to get ready. 2 days later, he came out of his room and ordered Zara to bring food and drink to Theo from under his door and to complete the training to speed up her production of talismans during the day, while he took Pion, who was carrying a huge bag on his back, and left silently. His destination was a few places saturated filled with the wind's path, like narrow valleys that serve as wind pathways or high mountains. Like fire and darkness, the wind patterns also differed according to the place. Things like how heavy the grains carried by the wind, the obstacles it hits, and so on. The pattern of the major law of the wind was associated with the movement of particles almost completely, and these movements are easily affected by the geography of the place. Robin continued to monitor and move from one place to another for about 4 months before he finally decided that what he had collected was enough and took Pion back towards the institution. During this period, he broke through to the 6th level without even trying. On his return, he found that Zara had done an additional 2 months of talismans on her own. Her rate was much better now. He asked her about what happened during their absence and found out that she had handed over the monthly orders to the 2 families and received the price agreed upon without any problems. And that Theo still hasn't come out yet, but he didn't worry about him. He knows best how hard it is to practice the perfect law of darkness. Pion, I'm going to take a break to write the perfect wind technique for you. Focus on your training to increase your level quickly and take care of the house with your sister. She obviously did well in our absence, he stated, and went up to his room directly to complete his perfect major law technique number 3 in just under 2 years. A little less than a month has passed since Robin started his seclusion, and although the time he needs now to crack a major law and write its cultivation technique is less than before, the difficulty of the process was still there. He is just getting used to it. Today, at last, he finished the technique. When he came out his room, he found Theo, who had broken through to the 8th level now, kneeling in front of the door with his eyes closed and his breath faint. He was asleep. How long have you been kneeling here? Robin was surprised. Theo opened his eyes, finding Robin in front of him, lowering his head even more. He's been there for about 4 days, Zara explained. Stand up, you idiot. I don't want you to kneel down to show your gratitude. You must work hard for me. He gently smacked Theo's forehead. Zara, where's your brother? He is in seclusion to quickly raise his level as you commanded, big brother. Call him then. I have something for him, nodded Robin, then went to sit on his sofa, holding a large book and 2 small ones. It didn't take a few seconds before Pion entered the room and bowed slightly in front of Robin, before the latter gestured to him to sit next to him, then went back to look at Theo. Theo, I'm sure you've gained a lot from your solitude. Why don't you show us something? Robin said with a smile. Theo nodded in affirmation, and before he could fully raise his head again, he was gone. What? Pion stood in astonishment and started sniffing around him. He's gone. Not only in appearance, everything about him is gone. Amen, well done. Robin nodded. This was part of the technique he wrote for him, and of course, he knows it well. It's called perfect invisibility, where darkness swallows up everything around the body, so no sound, light, or smell leaks out. Just a person much stronger than Theo would have the feeling of having someone else around. What else have you mastered? Although Theo is still in stealth mode, Robin's eyes followed him step by step until he reaches the table, which astonishes Theo greatly and made Robin grow even more in his eyes. After he arrived, he picked up a cup and raised it, which caught Zara and Pion's eyes and turned to look at him, but then the cup also disappeared. Robin nodded when he saw this. Asterisk perfect swallow asterisk, that's nice. How about shadow mobility? Theo canceled his invisibility and appeared in front of everyone. But suddenly it seemed as if he had been pulled towards the shadow of the table and disappeared again. This was different from the perfect invisibility he used before. In perfect invisibility, he uses the law of darkness to create a barrier around his body anywhere and anytime. As for shadow teleportation, it can only be used in places rich with shadows, but it is much easier to move this way and make surprise attacks. Dark scope? Robin asked. Theo appeared again, but soon disappeared. This time, all of their surroundings disappeared with him into pitch-black darkness. One could not see his nose inside. Robin continued to ask him about a few more features before he finally applauded. Excellent. Seeing these techniques in action is much better than writing them. The perfect law of darkness is really cool. I think I should practice some of them too. Hold. Robin tossed a small booklet at Theo. This is an energy cultivation technique that takes darkness path as its main focus. It will be much better for you than what you are using right now. Theo accepted it calmly and bowed again, though the idea of a better energy cultivation technique made him agitated inside. He actually got used to things like that from his master. What could be more surprising than the major law of darkness, which all the sages of history failed to come up with? Peon, it's your turn now. In this book, you will find the perfect major wind law cultivation technique, and the booklet has an energy cultivation technique based on wind path. Hope you make good use of them. Robin handed the 2 books to Peon. Peon surely knew the value of what was in his hand. Having seen Caesar's exaggerated power and the immediate danger of death in every move from Theo, he knew that anything that comes out of this boy who seemed younger than him would be considered a worldly treasure. My lord, are you not afraid that I or Theo will leak your heritage? Peon gathered his courage and asked what was on his mind. Theo also looked in Robin's direction. He's also been wondering repeatedly about this over the past months as he contemplates the wonders of his law cultivation technique. You are smarter than this. That was the reason I choose you from the beginning. If something like this happened, I would be able to kill the traitor one way or another. No, whoever receives my work will be the one who kills you to try to get closer to me. But let's leave this aside and focus on the general viewpoint. And what if one of the techniques is leaked? Do you think I will strengthen you guys to satisfy my ego? This is just the beginning, and my dream is to spread my heritage to the whole world, but at the right time. I dream that one day the 3 of you will be able to reach beyond the sage's limit and build your own forces to dominate the whole world. Only then I can distribute these techniques and strengthen the rest of the world. When you stand on top it, tell me, Peon, who is going to be harmed by leaking my techniques now? Peon stood stunned by what he heard. To take over the world? No one should have the guts to say those words. Not even great emperors, but the 3 of us are now stronger than the emperors when they were our age. And after forming our pillars from these laws, we will be much stronger than them with every step we take, if we work under the banner of the same master. Will it be difficult to achieve this dream? When he saw Peon's absence in his thoughts, Theo moved beside him and slapped him in the back of the head. When he regained consciousness and bowed. It was just a question, my lord. Please don't get angry. This peon will only work to gain your satisfaction. And I know you will. Go start your training. Don't show me your face before you master the law and break through to the 8th level at least. Understood. Peon took the 2 books and bowed again before heading towards his room. Yon Theo, I'm going out for a walk. You're obviously free since you've been on your knees all this time. Come with me, Robin said and walked out directly. Theo soon caught up and walked behind him like a shadow. Theo guessed that Robin is visiting his favorite restaurant to celebrate as usual. Only now that he had read and mastered Robin's technique did he know how hard it was to make it. Actually, a nice meal after making every earth-shattering technique sounds unfair for him. Or maybe he would go to the slave platforms to find another lucky man to support his little special forces. When Robin revealed what he was planning for them, he became sure that he wouldn't stop at just the 3 of them. But he was surprised that they took a different turn this time. After walking a few minutes more, Theo found himself in front of a huge store with a banner that says Pill's Corner on it, but the door was closed. Robin found this very strange. A pill store this grand shouldn't be closed in broad daylight. But when he looked around, he found that most of the nearby grand stores were closed as well. What's going on here? Good morning, Uncle. Why are there many stores closed up today? Robin went to one of the small shops and asked the owner. Good morning, young man. Don't you know? Today is when the Great Bradley Auction takes place. All the merchants of the duchy must go there every year to try to win something that distinguishes their business. And all the centers of power also go and hope that they may find something to increase their power. It's considered the largest gathering of the duchy's symbols. The old man said with a smile, "Auction, do you know where it is located?" "Yes, it is in the nearest street to the ducal palace. When you arrive, you will be able to identify it at once." "Thank you." Robin thanked him and turned towards his new destination. In front of a huge, luxurious building, Robin stood staring at it. Guards were all around it. Most of them were in the 12th level, and one of them was at the 15th level. It was clear that they were not slaves, but all elite soldiers. Wealthy merchants, mighty powerhouses, and those with high status still flocking to the building with extravagant outfits and ravishing women in their arms. This was definitely the auction site. Robin quietly walked in behind them until a guard blocked him. "Stop! Where do you think you're going?" "Inside the auction house, of course." Robin smiled. The guard looked at him from top to bottom and found that he's a 14-year-old and at the 6th level. This is a little above average for the sons of nobles, so he softened his tone a bit. "We can't let everyone in because the places are limited, but if you have an invitation or a recommendation, I will let you in." "Recommendation? Is Lady Mila Bradley inside?" The guard was shocked by the question. "Yes." "Tell her Robin Burton would like to come in. I trust she'll allow it." The guard narrowed his eyes and looked at the strangely smiling teenager. "I hope you know what you're doing, or else." Then he called for another guard, repeated the message for him, and sent him to get Lady Mila's opinion. It wasn't long before the guard came out and said with a slight bow, "Lady Mila invites you to her private room at the upper class." The guard who had stopped Robin also bowed and slipped out his way quickly. The building from the inside was even more luxurious than the outside. It was a huge hall like a theater filled with luxurious chairs. At the upper section, there are private closed rooms with just a small window in every room overlooking the hall. After a minute of walking, Robin was led to one of those rooms, where he found Mila sitting by the window looking at the hall. Even after entering the room, she did not turn around. She was still fixing her eyes at the hall as she said, "I didn't think a strange creature like you would attend such events." "Ha, you're right. I happened to choose today to go to the store, but I heard that the owner is here, so I came to see what's going on." Robin smiled and went to sit next to Mila and then asked, "What's up with Caesar?" Ask your family. Why do you think I'll have the answer to this question?" Mila snorted. "If you don't follow the movements of someone as important as Caesar, you would be a fool, and I don't like to get involved with fools." "You, why are you talking to me without fear? Don't you how strong I am?" Mila looked at him angrily. Who else in the duchy know? In the whole kingdom could talk to her like that? I can randomly pick someone from the streets and make him stronger than you. Giving enough time, of course. Do you believe it?" Robin shrugged. "At least I'm still a few months older than you. Try to respect me more." It was an extremely arrogant statement, to say the least, but she couldn't find a response to his words. Caesar was the simplest example that he wasn't joking. Secondly, he made that amazing, never-before-seen fire talisman and magically regained his teenage body, so she can no longer deal with him as someone inferior to her, just because he is weaker. Hey, we're both approaching 150 years old. What difference a few months will make? Just answer my question." Robin chuckled. "Don't speak like I am an old hag. 150 years is still very young in the cultivation world. Anyway, there's no need to worry about Caesar. He was received in the Burton family as heroes are received. A huge banquet was held in Jura City, attended by all the available descendants of the Burtons to get to know their new family member. It was a long night, especially when the patriarch announced that Caesar is your adopted son and that you trained him. The whole banquet was in a state of astonishment when they heard your name before a wave of earth-shattering cheering came out of every one of them, as if they had already become a Duke family. You should have seen this. Some of them thanked their god after making sure that Caesar is closely related to them and will fight in their name even if he does not have the blood of the family. Some old men shouted that only a genius like Robin could train someone like Caesar, and young people who did not witness your era started asking about you. But the elders ignored your running away part and told them that you were the #1 genius in the whole kingdom in your time and that you left in order to research the truth of the universe, and that you trained Caesar for the benefit of the family. All in all, your kid is being treated like a gem, and your name has regained its prestige within the family. After you were a runaway bastard, you became a legendary figure. All that for a young genius? This is more than expected. Much more. It seems that the family is not doing well these days. Robin frowned. This massive welcome for Caesar didn't put him at ease at all. Of course they aren't doing well. But this is not a product of today or yesterday. The Burton family hasn't produced a single high-leveled saint for hundreds of years. Even your current patriarch Earl Bryant is at level 25, still a mid-level saint like me. Without a strong saint leading the family, the rest of the family surrounding you will continue making raids. That's how simple it is. And this happening with the Burtons for ages. They would raid the mines and cities, taking lands from you to increase their own. Actually, every year dozens or even hundreds of deaths fall from the Burton family. Invasions and raids from families next to us? Aren't we all subordinate to the Black Sun Kingdom? Robin raised his eyebrows. He never cared about the family situation while he was still in it. Who is the fool now? The lands that the family can control depend on the strength of their army. Do you think the royal family distributed these lands to those they love? No. Every week little battles, or even a small war breaks out somewhere inside the kingdom, mostly to acquire new lands from the neighbors. Mila stated, as if it was a very normal situation. Doesn't this mean that the kingdom is in a constant state of internal war? Why doesn't the royal family intervene? Robin was shocked by this. It is known that an internal war is the killing of any country. In their view, the state of internal war is not a bad thing as long as the scale of the conflict can be controlled, and as long as the families swear to forget their grudges and join hands in case of any external threat. It keeps the noble families on alert and in constant search for strength, which will strengthen the kingdom as a whole. Don't you think that too, Mr. Genius? Mila rolled her eyes at him. Robin did not find anything to refute her words. Indeed, if all the families and the major powers are in a state of constant readiness for war, this will make the country military power stronger, and its defenses will be difficult to breach. But at the same time, will this not consume the families internally in the long run, burn the resources on useless wars instead of internal growth, and weaken the sense of belonging to the kingdom as a whole? Robin did not comprehend their train of thought. To have a strong, but internally disintegrated country was never a good thing. One of the neighboring kingdoms might be able to entice one of the bigger families to join them, and this is easy as the families obtain their lands by their own efforts. They would not feel that they would commit a great betrayal by taking such a decision. Anyway, do I understand from you that the Burton family is currently at war? It is always so. They lost a huge piece of land about 10 years ago to a marquis next to them. The loss was a painful blow that almost cost them to be lowered from an earldom to a viscountcy, but Patriarch Brian led a large army in a suicidal operation to recover part of the land. A few thousands of your cousins died that day, but at the end, the Burtons managed to recover just enough piece of land to keep the title of Earl. The situation is worse than I thought. No wonder they had such a huge celebration for Caesar. Robin sighed. So, what happened after that banquet? Nothing exciting. Caesar began to challenge those of his level in the Duchy of Alton, and when he crushed them all, he began to travel to the rest of the dukes to defeat all the geniuses of his level. When he finished, he began to challenge those above him by a level, then by 2 levels. Caesar is currently treated as a god within the Burton family. I think he is still in the Duchy of Stanley right now to fight one of their level 10 geniuses. Haha. All this and nothing exciting. Robin felt proud upon hearing this, perhaps because it was his son who had raised him since he was a baby, perhaps because he was the one who got him that strength, or perhaps both. I saw that attack myself that day. No human or beast can stop that white flame at the same level. Anyone standing in front of it with less than a difference of at least 2 levels would be just asking to be insulted. Mila snored, then leaned over Robin, showing him her big breasts. You still don't intend to pass the white flame technique to me? I won't be stingy with you. Oh, they're not bad at all. Work as a maid for me for 20 years, and I promise you that I'll think about it seriously, Robin chuckled. Fisk, in your dreams. Mila returned to its original position, looking through the window. Robin laughed, but didn't talk more about it. Mila built her pillars to the 11 and 21 levels using the Fire Shard secondary law as well. After all, it is one of the most famous secondary laws techniques among the nobles of the Black Sun Kingdom. It's not that it is the strongest or best secondary law, but that the choices themselves were very limited. The number of discovered laws was not much, less than 1,000, and most of those who discover a law made it exclusive to their family or followers. Some even announced that they discovered a law and publicly used it, but did not make the law cultivation technique for future generations. Others completed the law cultivation technique, but died before it spread. Therefore, the law cultivation technique died with them. In practice, the number of the law cultivation techniques available isn't much at all, especially those that have been researched to the second or even the third level, like the fire shards law cultivation technique. In any kingdom, one can count those with one hand. Are you here to buy something specific? After a few minutes of silence, Robin asked. No, I was free, so I came. Who knows? Maybe I will find something that would help me break through to the next level. Something to help break through to level 25? Looks like you have high expectations for this auction. Robin began to look seriously at what would be sold. Huh, how did you know I'm at level 24? It wasn't announced, and all I told you earlier is that I'm at sane intermediate levels. Mila looked at him in amazement. The expression of middle levels included from 24 to 27. Damn it, woman. Would you stop thinking of me as a normal person? For God's sake. You. Mila was really angered this time. This old boy doesn't know how to treat ladies. Shoo. Someone is moving on the stage. I think the auction is about to start. Robin didn't care about the angered lioness beside him at all. Seeing this, Mila just humphed and returned to her original calm appearance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. If this is your first visit, then allow me to introduce myself. I am Lena. I salute you all, and thank you for your presence today. I assure you that your coming will not be wasted. A very beautiful girl in sexy clothes announced as she was on her way to the middle of the stage. In an instant, Robin determined that she was at level 15, a very good level even in the scope of the whole world. She was definitely not just a pretty girl. I know that all of you are very busy. Don't worry, I won't keep you waiting for long. We're going to start today's auction with this piece, Pre-Kingdom's Age Golden Armor. It's still sturdy and would be an excellent addition to any antiques collector. Lena then gestured to a few girls pushing a cart with a partially broken golden armor on it. 800 gold coins. 1,000 gold coins. 1,050 coins. Voices rose one after another. The price of the armor eventually reached 1,700 gold coins, which made Robin stunned. This is just junk. If the armor is melted, the gold inside, it wouldn't be enough to make 100 gold coins. Why would anyone buy it at such a price? You are too practical. The merchant who bought it now can easily resell it for more than 2,000 gold coins. This piece would be a good addition to any middle-ranked noble's office. That's what happens when you have more money than you need. You'll start buying useless things to brag. What? Earl Bryant didn't have anything like that in his office. Mila replied. Then Robin remembered the Patriarch's office. It really was filled with rare beast heads and artifacts. When I was a child, I used to think that the Patriarch killed those beasts and found the artifacts himself. The old bastard bought them with that much money? Robin still hasn't moved on from the armor and its price yet. Another similar item appeared. Then the next. Till now, it was all about antique artifacts or the heads of rare beasts. Do these people have a lot of money and want to waste it? Or is there nothing else worth buying at all? Okay, now that we're done with the antiques part, we're going to start the weapons auctions. Are you ready? Lena said with a sweet laugh. Anything you sell, I'll do my best to buy it. Lena, I only wish that you'd buy my heart one day, said one of the young men present. Making the hall explode with laughter, they all knew that the young man was also joking to lighten the atmosphere. Lena's is beyond anyone's reach. Hee hee. Maybe if you buy a few more times, I'll think about it, Lena chuckled. Okay then, we'll start the auction with this. A broadsword made by the best blacksmith in Stanley County recently. We fought hard to get it here, so I hope you can give a decent price. We'll start the auction with 300 gold coins. A few girls entered, pushing a cart in front of them with the sword of the broadsword. Its length was about 6 feet if the handle was counted as well. On its blade, attractive linear decorations, and at the end of its handle, a drawing of a roaring lion. 320 gold coins, someone shouted, after being dazzled by the appearance of a sword. 380 coins, this sword is mine. Robin, who was sitting on the top floor, was still examining the sword using his eye of truth. That sword is made of the same material as Caesar's halberd, and the halberd was not even a third of the opening price. Oh, you have a keen eye for raw materials too? Arg, whatever. Generally, most high-quality weapons are made of the same components: polished metal for the blade and forged wood for the handle. What else would they use? They are the two best options. What really changes is the amount of those components in every weapon, the shape of the weapon, if there are any decorative material inside like that golden armor, and also the person who made the sword. The more famous the maker was, the more expensive his creations will become, Mila said, and then she also joined in, 420 coins. But the price, she said, was soon overtaken. All the people sitting here were either high-ranking nobles, great merchants, or powerful saints. Her presence did not intimidate anyone. Quickly, the final sword price reached 700 gold coins. Robin still hasn't digested what he's seen yet. So you're saying that all the high-quality weapons are technically the same except for the name of the blacksmith and the decorations on the weapon? That's absolutely true. Mila nodded. I know what you're thinking, but showing off a beautiful sword made by the famous blank dash is still cooler than swinging an ugly, nameless one. Even if Robin thought that Mila was exaggerating a little at first, but his doubts evaporated when he saw a few weapons being sold at astronomical prices. They were all of the same materials. There was nothing different between them, but their shape. Especially a spear that sold for 1,300 gold coins because its shaft was dragon-shaped and a bit longer than usual. It looks like these guys have a lot of money and don't know where to throw it. I'll make sure to put them to good use. An evil-looking smile appeared on Robin's face. That's bad. I'm not comfortable with that smile. Mila turned her head and frowned when she saw him. Ha! It is an honor that I made a saint. Not comfortable dash, Robin laughed out loud. You haven't told me yet. What did you want from that store you found closed up, and what brought you here? I don't think someone like you would move around without a goal. Oh, I made a little thing and wanted the shopkeeper to give me a price tag on it. But when I heard about the auction, I thought it would be the best place to know the true value of my creation. Robin said, as if it was nothing. You made something new? What is it? Show me quickly. Mila opened her eyes wide and got close to him. She saw for herself the fire talisman and Caesar's white flame. Anything coming out of this young man sure would not be normal. All right. Robin pulled out a bottle and handed it to Mila. She opened it quickly and began checking it out. Inside were 9 pills with a distinctive smell, and on each one a distinctive drawing of a brain. And inside the brain there was a number, but the numbering of the 9 was between 1 and 3 only. This smell, the spirit revitalizing pill. Mila asked in astonishment. She certainly knows these pills, as she used them a lot in her youth. I did a little modification on them. Like the one I did on the rabbit skin. Robin smiled and replied. What exactly do these pills do? Swallow one of those with number 3 on it, and you'll know. Robin shrugged. But if you take one, be prepared to auction the pills using your name. Mila did not hesitate and swallowed the pill, then closed her eyes and began to aid digestion quickly. Robin wasn't unrealistic. If he thought the pills were good enough to be auctioned off in a place like this, they were certainly not ordinary. Robin returned to focus on the auction. They were still selling weapons and armors. Robin remembered that he alone bought Caesar 2 halberds and 2 long daggers for Theo, and a light sword for Peon. They were all high quality. The demand for high-quality weapons was always high, and the number of potential buyers only increases with the birth of more sons of the nobles every day. Perhaps if... A shriek suddenly came from Mila, frightened Robin to nearly falling off his chair. What's wrong with you, woman? What's wrong with me? Me? You? Do you know the value of this pill? Of course I don't know its value. Why do you think I'm here? Robin looked at her in amazement. This pill, I feel like I'm a lot more focused, and my mind is becoming sharper. If I'm not mistaken, can I stay awake for 5 days longer than normal? The more Mila analyzes what happened in her body, the more excited she gets. The pill contained a pattern of a secondary law that Robin discovered a long time ago during his early time at the Bee Zone. The law was very useful to him during his research, so he focused his research on it for a good while and completed its first level. And this improved even more after discovering the law of truth. The idea of making this pill came to him since he first saw the spirit revitalizing pill and knew its price. So he said to himself, if the people here intend to buy this crap for tons of money, then they better give it to me to advance further in my research. So he decided to make a spirit revitalizing pill that's much stronger than the current one by fusing the secondary blood impulse law pattern with the original pill. The results given by the pill seemed simple, but any cultivator intending to break through to a higher level would have known the value of every word said by now. This was simply a miracle pill. The higher the level of the cultivator, the greater his brain activity and energy, and thus the longer the period in which he can stay awake. But it is normal for humans to go to sleep. This is from the laws of nature and cannot be escaped no matter how strong you become. Even a girl like Mila who can stay awake for about 20 days will eventually have to fall asleep, or she will just pass out. But this is also one of the biggest fears of every cultivator. A few times, Mila would train in seclusion for 20 days and be about to completely form the 25th level, but she would gradually lose focus by the last days and forcefully stop her practice for sleeping. This problem can be overcome by repeating the process over a period long enough to get used to it and reduce the time it takes to break through. This can take tens of years, maybe more. But if she has this pill to help her... Oh, I think that's right. How much do you think the pill is worth? Robin asked as he turned to continue watching the weapons and try to recollect his previous thoughts. Mila moved her hand and hit him on the side of his head. What the hell are you doing? Robin shouted. Stop acting like you made some candy. This is a revolution in the cultivation world. It actually can get me to the 25th level. Would you please stay focused with me for a second? TCH, just ask what you want. Robin began gently rubbing the area where he was hit. Tell me more about the pills. Is there something I forgot to identify? What's the secret behind these numbers on the pills? Mila eagerly waited for Robin's reply. You actually got it all. The only problem is that the effect will be better at the weaker levels than the following. I mean, if you were at level 23, for example, you would have had about half an extra day of awakeness and focus. Oh, there's another tip. After the end of the effect of the pill, you can take another one, but it will give you one extra day at most. You'll have to sleep after that. After sleeping, the pills would be long gone from your body system, and when you awake, you can use the pills again normally. The first one will give you 5 days without a problem. As for the numbers, they are to determine the level of the effect. Those that have a number 1 on them are for those below the 11th level. The number 2 pills are for the knights below the 21st level. And of course, the number 3 pills is the one you swallowed, are for the saints. Are there consequences if a person of the 10th level had a 3rd level pill, for example? I asked Mila eagerly. No, it will give him a few days of awakeness, but it would be a waste to use on them. A level 3 is a very tiring piece of art, and I don't intend to sell them cheaply. I'll buy them from you. All of them. Just set the price, and it's yours, Mila said hurriedly. Don't forget the condition you agreed to before you swallowed the pill. Robin pointed toward the auction stage. Is there even a reason? I'll buy them from you, and I'll pay for the pill I swallowed as well. Mila was really worried about losing any of the pills in her hand. I want to know their actual price by putting them up for auction. This is not the last batch I'm going to make. This is the best opportunity to announce my creation to find potential buyers for the later batches. Robin shrugged, refusing her argument. How about you auction one of each level, but the remaining 5 will be mine. I will pay you the final price that the auction will settle on for each level. I think that's fair too. You were a good girl and deserved special treatment, Robin said as he reached out and pinched her cheeks, as he was preparing to receive a slap on his hand or an angry shout. He was surprised that his hand reached her cheek and actually pinched it. The reaction he got was just a humph. Then she turned to look through the window again. Looks like this girl is finally starting to treat me like an equal, he chuckled thinking about this. The auction of the various weapons continued for about an additional hour before Lena announced its end. Thank you all for your enthusiasm today. Everything sold for a reasonable price. Lena is happy with you all. Now let's move on to the auction of rare beast carcasses. Wait, a female shout came from one of the private rooms, causing everyone to look at who was going to disrupt their auction. Oh, Lady Mila Bradley, how may I help you? Lena identified the room and smiled sweetly. I have something I want to put up for auction now. I think some of the attendees will like it. I'm assured the guests wouldn't mind that, right? Mila stood and moved closer to the big window in her room. Haha, Lady Mila, this is a very simple request, of course, we won't mind. I'd like to see what Lady Mila wants to bring out. The guests voiced their agreement one after another until Lena finally replied. Although the auction items must be delivered before we start, we can make an exception for you this time. What do you want to sell? This. Mila took out 3 beads between her beautiful fingers. Pills. Lena narrowed her eyes. Pills, in general, had no place in the auction. The pill industry in the world has not yet reached the point where it affects the powerhouses. Therefore, all of it is relatively cheap. What are the characteristics of these pills? One of the major merchants asked. He too was a saint who owned a large shop for pills and was surprised by the appearance of some of them in the auction. I hope you all listen to my explanation because I will only say it once. I frankly want to keep them for myself, but I am selling them for the benefit of their maker. The words were very rude. Mila really didn't want to sell even one. But her words did not reach the desired effect, but rather made the guests eager to hear more. Then she continued, these are spirit revitalizing pills, but modified ones. The one with the number 1 on it can give someone below level 11 5 more days, give or take, of focus and awakeness, but the dash. Before Mila could finish her sentence, she was interrupted by the crowd. What? Oh my, if it was with my son, he would have survived those bastards' pursuit instead of having been caught after 7 days of chasing due to extreme exhaustion. Is what you're saying is true? That's awesome. Mila didn't even introduce the rest of the pills, but the hall was already about to blow up by the yelling of the crowd. Robin didn't expect this reaction even in his wildest dreams. Everyone present was an elite of society. A pill for those below level 11 definitely wouldn't work for most of them. He didn't know if this was the reaction to the pill itself, or because they felt that the pill industry, in general, had taken a big step forward. Please calm down, Lena shouted and gestured to the crowd to return to their seats, then looked at Mila excitedly. Lady Mila, I didn't expect you to have such a rare treasure. Do you have a specific starting price in your mind for it? I haven't even finished my words yet. This with the number 1 is for cultivator below level 11, and the one with number 2 has the same effect for the knights between level 11 and 20, Mila explained. What? Some of the attendees could not remain silent and quickly stood up again. Another strong wave was about to start. Don't interrupt me again. Humph. Finally, the pill that has the number 3 on it has the same efficacy for saints between levels 21 and 30. That's it. Now you may proceed with your shouting. Mila finally exhaled that she had fulfilled her promise, but the expected shouts did not come out this time, but rather a deadly silence. When she looked down, she found the crowd looking at her in amazement, as if they had been struck by lightning, opening their mouths. Some of them tried to move their mouth to speak, but not a word came out. In the end, a saint gathered his courage. A few more days of awakeness and sharpness. For a saint? Is that possible? This was the question everyone in the audience wanted to say. I assure you all of this, and I am responsible for every word I have said. I have tried the number 3 pill myself, Mila declared. Then what are we waiting for? Lady Mela, please hand over the pills. Let's start the auction for pill number 3 immediately. A strong shout came from one of the private rooms. Absolutely not. Lady Lena, I request half an hour before you begin. I don't have enough gold at the moment. Another one from a private room said quickly before Mila announced her approval. That's right, I'm also asking for a timeout. I didn't bring in enough for this. And I need to summon my master. When Lena heard this, she understood that today's auction could no longer treat it as a normal one. So she gasped and declared, this was an unexpected development, and therefore I will have to go according to your wishes. The auction will be stopped for 1 hour, after which we will start bidding directly on the number 3 pill, on the first and second pills. As soon as her words ended, most of those in the hall began to rush out in patches, among them those who went to get more money, and those who went to borrow, and of course the small merchants and representatives who went to call their masters. Mila looked at Robin angrily and said, Are you happy now? Ahem, what can I say? This has slightly exceeded my expectations. Stop provoking me. You are literally selling a treasure that increases the chances of breaking through to a higher level. Cultivation at the levels after 20 is very difficult. All saints have to wait dozens of years for a proper opportunity to break through. How do you think their reaction would have been? Robin chuckled, then went back to see what was happening in the hall and hear the conversations of those who were still sitting until the hour passed quickly. The hall, which was originally full, is now without a single inch of space left. The auction house itself sent urgent invitations to those who did not attend, and they came as well. Cough, cough. I, Lena, am proud that I was here today to preside over this auction that will go down in history. Our next object is pills, specifically 3 pills that have never before appeared in history. Normally, I would start in order from weakest to strongest, but I know half of you will try to kill me if you do this, so I'll start directly with the number 3 pill. Gentlemen, there will be no lower limit. I'll leave the determination of the value to you all. You can start now. 10,000 gold coins. Robin was shocked to hear this number. This was just the opening price. The pill business is very profitable. 13,000 gold coins. 14,000. The bidding continued for a few minutes until the sound of 55,000 gold coins. 55,000. Arg. I can't afford this. Damn it. I couldn't raise enough money in an hour. The hall finally came to relative silence after the final bid, until a hesitant voice came, 60,000. When Lena heard this, she almost jumped in joy. Now we have an offer of 60,000 gold coins from a private room. Is there a higher bid? But there was no answer. Everyone started looking around and shaking their heads helplessly. Second call. Side discussions calmed down, and those present have already made peace with reality. The number 3 pill now has its owner. The third call. Sold to the master in private room number 37. Lena announced with a big smile. This was a huge event. Ha ha. I've been stuck at level 29 for so long, I didn't think I would find a way to increase my chances today. It seems that my coming to this duchy was arranged by the heavens. A loud laugh came from private room number 37. Lady Mila Bradley, a large part of my personal savings is gone now. I only got this pill because you sold it at your responsibility. But now, can I ask where it came from? Everyone in attendance turned toward Mila, waiting for a response. While Mila herself looked at Robin, who shook his head at her, she then stood up and went to the window. Sorry, I can't say who the creator is. He doesn't want to be known yet. I can only say I know him personally and that this probably won't be the last time he sells this kind of pills. Great! Powerful shouts came from below after hearing Mila's words. This promise was enough for them. Hee, then I'll be looking forward to more of that hidden genius's work. These were the last words said by the new pill owner. He was quick to pay for the pill and get out immediately after. The auction then continued for the other 2 pills. Although it was not as hot as the number 3 pill, everyone still wanted to get one, even if it was a souvenir. Those were the first patch of its kind in history, a real revolution in alchemy. What would make a better antique? In the end, the one with the number 2 pill was sold for 11,000 gold coins, and the number 1 pill for 1,050 gold coins. Robin did not know what to say. These prices and this enthusiasm for buying his pills exceeded his wildest dreams. What would happen if I invented a pill to extend life or directly increase the chances of success? His memory went back and remembered the words of the all-seeing God that this planet is still a nascent asterisk, and that he mustn't the planet and leave something for the later generation. Asterisk. So this is the task of those who walk the path of truth. Planet development. Only now did Robin understand the words of the all-seeing God to the fullest. Hey, what are you thinking about? Thinking about how you'll spend your new fortune. Mila teased from the side. Actually, this is the second reason for my little walk today, to spend some coins. I have a lot of those after selling fire talismans over the past few months. There's no need to hold myself back. I want to buy beast hides at different levels and plants with fire, darkness, or wind properties. With Robin's experience, he discovered that the power of the talismans is linked to 2 things. First, what is written on it. Secondly, what is written with it. What is written on it is very clear after trying the skin of red rabbits. It is clear that there was a huge jump in strength when he used the skin of a monster associated with the spirit of fire more than it was on just the paper. So what will happen when he uses the hides of more powerful monsters? That's why Robin chose right from the beginning to draw the pattern on the spirit revitalizing pill, because it contains similar elements to the law he was trying to draw its pattern. Thinking about that, if I somehow made a more powerful raw pill, wouldn't it be able to show my pattern's effectiveness better? Nah, this is for the distant future. This doesn't have anything to do with the patterns and more, but alchemy. And currently, the pill industry is struggling, and it is very difficult to make better raw pills. But who knows? This may change after the revolution announced by Rubin today. Second, what to draw the pattern with. Robin initially used normal ink to write on the papers, but did not show much strength. Even when he wrote in normal ink on rabbit skin, the strength he produced was barely equal to a level 3 explosion. Only when he used ashes from burning a few hides to draw did it show the power of a 6th level explosion. The pill's patterns were also patterned using ash from burning one of the pills. This was the reason for reducing the 10 pills he bought from the store to 9. It was clear that upgrading these 2 parts is the key to increasing the effect. Of course, there's also the soul exhaustion resulting from drawing the patterns, but this was related to the natural talent of the artist himself, and he has not found a solution for that yet. Hides? Plants? Do you intend to use these things to make something new? Mila's eyes sparkled. She was looking forward to whatever Robin would bring out. Right. Hey, the auction isn't over yet. Why don't you help me buy the good hides from me in your name, then send them to my residence at the institution? You can deduct their price from what you owe me. After taking a number 3 pill and buying the other, she is owing Robin a lot now. A lot. All right, I will do this for you. Just remember to show me whatever you invent first. Haha, all right. Robin chuckled and stood up and headed for the door. I've achieved what I want from this auction. It's time to go back to my work. All the rest for you. Thanks in advance. Mila nodded and stared at Robin's back until he disappeared from view, then kept staring at the empty hallway after he had left. She was glad that she and her father weren't short-sighted and made the right choice. This guy might just change the world. Robin stopped after he got out of the auction hall and turned to look at it with a chuckle. Are you proud of your master, Theo? Ha, you know what? I bet these kinds of shit pills aren't even good enough to be sold at the older planets. They aren't even pills. It's just an edible talisman. I'd almost feel bad for this. I sold him a 20 gold coins pill for 60,000 gold coins. Theo knew that his master was speaking to himself rather than him. But if he could talk, he would have told him that was truly proud. And that is genius work that raised the pill value from 20 to 60,000. Well, whatever those plus 180k gold coins will keep my research costs covered for some time. I will make sure my next auction will be something worthy. Finally, he got his eyes off the auction hall and started walking again toward house 207. Welcome back, big brother. Do you want me to fix your room for an extra treat? When she noticed the arrival of Robin and Theo, Zara came running and said she knew Robin's lifestyle well and that what would follow his little picnic would probably be a few months of seclusion to research something. No need. I don't intend to search for a new law this time. All the bastards around me are getting stronger while I'm still stuck in the 6th level. I will increase my strength in the following period, or else they will think their master is weak, haha. Robin's announcement made Theo smile. You weak? I'm afraid that even with the difference of levels between us and my current strength of the Law of Darkness, I won't be able to defeat you. Indeed, Robin was planning to increase his strength, but not for the reason he said, but because higher levels give him better natural focus and his soul gets a little stronger the higher his level. In general, this helps him a lot in his research. And as he helped Caesar, Theo, and Peon already, had nothing to worry about. Well, except for Zara, of course, but she's young and can wait. The next morning, a large cart arrived loaded with various types of hides and plants, which Robin took and began to try many methods to how best use them after completing his daily training sessions. 3 weeks passed quickly, and it was time for the monthly delivery of the talismans. This was the first time Robin attended the exchange process. He was not interested in formalities, but this time he was anxiously waiting for the day. He wanted to ask the envoy of the Burton family what was going on with Caesar at the moment. Good evening, little Zara. I've come to pick up the Burton family's monthly share." A voice came from outside the house. "Come in," said Robin, shocking the man outside. That was the first time he had heard a manly voice in the house. Could it be? After the middle-aged man walked in and spotted Robin sitting in the living room, he shouted loudly, "Sir Robin, I didn't expect to see you again in my life. It's fortunate that I was chosen to come today." With a single glance, Robin knew that this man was at the 19th level. It was clear that he was a close follower of one of the family saints. It seems that the family values these talismans greatly. Otherwise, they would not have appointed people of this level to protect it. "Excuse me, uncle, if I don't remember you," Robin said apologetically. "Ha, no need. I would be surprised if the genius and the father of the genius knew this old man. Is there anything I can do for you? When we came before we never saw you. This made us worry a bit. I'm fine, it's just that I'm often busy, but I want to ask about Caesar this time. Is he okay?" "Of course he's fine. 2 weeks ago, he crushed that 10th level genius of the Stanley Duchy in front of everyone. He's been recognized as the #1 genius in the entire kingdom." "Ha ha, really got to thank you for that, Sir Robin. You raised our heads above the clouds." The man laughed out loud and said proudly, This is going much smoother than I expected. It seems that the royal family has a really high tolerance. Then tell me, is there someone or something from outside the kingdom who tried to contact Caesar?" I don't know if this answers your question, but the 8 Kingdoms tournament will take place in 5 months, and Caesar has been invited to participate in it," the middle-aged man said hesitantly. Robin furrowed. "This tournament, as far as I know, it's held every 10 years, and every time in a different kingdom. And it is basically between princes of the royal families and sons of the duke families who have reached the 10th level. Isn't that right? Inviting Caesar, who hasn't reached even the 9th level yet, and is just a son of an earl family, does not seem realistic." "We know, but isn't that a good thing?" The family celebrated the day the invitation arrived. The man scratched his head. "Who sent the invitation exactly?" "Our Black Sun royal family, of course. They want Caesar to be part of the kingdom's official expedition for the tournament this time. It's a huge honor." "Honor? Do you think the other kingdoms will celebrate his success?" "No, I'm not sure about this. What is the patriarch's opinion in this matter?" Thinking about it, I think your words came across his head as well. He forbade Caesar from wandering and challenging geniuses as he was doing, and arranged for him the best training resources, and told him to break through to the 9th level quickly, and that he would send family members to spar with him when needed. Robin nodded. "Good. That old man still has some intelligence. All right, you can take your load and go now." "Yes, Mr. Robin." The man bowed a little, took the box, left the bags of coins, and left. He didn't feel anything strange about bowing or taking orders from Robin. That person was very mysterious. The 8 Kingdoms tournament equals 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 equals. Days passed quickly. A little more than 4 months flew by. Robin used them to break through to the 7th level and prepare to continue towards the 8th, and at the same time was perfecting his talismans, during which Peon also came out of his seclusion after he had completed learning the perfect wind law cultivation technique and breaking through to the 9th level. Theo also managed to break through to level 9 during this period, leaving little Zara still at level 5 because she was busy drawing monthly runes and trying to increase her production. "Theo, Peon, I have a mission for you both." Robin called from his room. "Please give your orders." "Master," the 2 of them came quickly. "This 8 Kingdoms tournament will start in a little over a month. Peon, did you ask where it will take place this time?" "Yes, Master. It will be held in the Kingdom of Doliver. The kingdom has a small border with ours, precisely with the Evern Duchy. This duchy has borders with the Alton Duchy as well. Next to the Duchy of Alton, the distance is still very far. The Burton family expedition has probably already moved. It seems I invited you both at the right time." Robin nodded. "What do you mean, Master?" "I want you both to head to that competition to support Caesar if needed. I don't feel comfortable about this." What exactly might happen?" "This is an official invitation, and I don't think Doliver or any other party is planning to harm young Master Caesar. This will anger the Black Sun Kingdom's royal family. Peon was puzzled by Robin's words. I don't know. I'm just not at ease, and this is not normal for me. Just go support him. Even morally, you're the only ones who can keep up with him anyway. Okay, we'll go at once. Any other orders? Robin took the few talismans next to him and threw them to Peon. They looked similar to the previous talismans, but the hide was thicker and exuded a much stronger aura. For talismans, in particular, had the symbol of the flame with the number 16 inside it, were very interesting, and another 2 talismans with the symbol of the black circle and inside of the number 50s. I hope you do not need these toys, but if any of you need them, do not hesitate to use them. Then Robin grabbed an empty scroll beside him and began to write on it. When he finished tossing it to Peon, give this to Mila Bradley on your way. Good luck. And to you too, Master. Peon and Theo bowed a little and then walked out of the room. After some simple preparations for the trip, they left the house. Even after their departure, Robin could not calm his sense of danger. He wished he could cancel Caesar's departure, but this would damage Caesar's and family's reputation in a way that threatens his future plans for them. And it is normal for Caesar to face a few problems. He cannot protect him forever. And above all, it could just be his imagination. I am Peon, and this is Theo, servants of Sir Robin Burton. We have come to deliver a letter to Lady Mila. Peon stood in front of Mila Bradley's residence and declared loudly, making Mila, who was sitting in training position inside, to get out quickly before the guard spoke and take the scroll from Peon's hand. They were both stunned by her action. He thought he had to fight the guards for a bit before they let him meet Lady Mila in person. Mila immediately opened the scroll and quickly furrowed after reading it. After rereading again and again, she finally raised her head to look at the masked Peon. I understand. You can leave now, and I'll see what I can do. The two of them did not understand what she was talking about, but they knew that their mission here was over. The two of them bowed for Mila and immediately started rushing towards the city exit, heading towards the kingdom of Doliver. Another month has passed by. The 8 Kingdoms cycle has a few days left. Caesar has already arrived with the Burton family's expedition to the capital of Doliver, where the tournament is taking place. Although the expedition contained a saint and many knights, they did not seem to be especially eye-catching in the streets here. All the sons of the dukes of the 8 kingdoms and the young princes of royal families also arrived with their companions. Seeing saints walking in the streets these days was no longer a strange thing. Celebrations and decorations were in place in the huge city and was getting more crowded every day. An event like this is the best time to hold auctions and the best cover for holding important or suspicious high-level meetings without attracting attention. While everyone was doing what they had to, Caesar and another person with him were walking in the city, looking around at crowds and the calling merchants. I heard that my father used to walk in the markets too, after every training solitude. Actually, he is still doing the same thing these days, but I still can't understand why. I wish I could answer you, but I also heard about him from the tales of the previous generation. The second person shook his head and replied to Caesar. Don't worry, Uncle John. I think Dad would be glad to meet you. And Auntie, Caesar patted Uncle John on the shoulder. That person was the boy Robin's mother gave birth to before she died. He's Robin's blood brother. Haha, I doubt it. I have a feeling that Big Brother already knows about our existence, but he didn't even ask about us. I'm not complaining here. He doesn't owe me anything, but his existence really affected me and my sister all our lives. Sometimes it affected us badly because he ran away, and now we are treated honorably like heroes because he sent you back. His presence completely led our lives, and yet we didn't see him once. Don't you see that this is miserable? John laughed with self-irony. He was still in the 14th level. Someone of his age and talent was not entitled to come to such a major event, but they chose him to come and accompany Caesar because he was the closest kin to Robin. My dad is always busy. Even when I was living with him, we didn't interact much. Caesar did not know what to say, but perhaps his father is already guilty this time. Haha, don't try to console me, boy, but you're right. I'll be looking forward to the day I meet him. Caesar did not respond again and tried to avoid the topic for the rest of their way. He didn't know if Robin knew about the existence of his blood brother and sister, or the presence of the dozens of half-brothers and sisters who wished to meet him. But he was sure of one thing. Even if Robin knew, he wouldn't care. It's not that Robin is a monster without feelings, but his style and ambition made him much more of a practical man than an emotional one. His brothers will often be just other forms of life in Robin's eyes, and he won't try to favor or degrade them compared to others. That is why he preferred to remain silent and began to inspect the capital with John. Although Caesar had circled the Black Sun Kingdom during the past months, he had never gone out of its borders. In fact, neither John did. Entering another kingdom was never easy, especially for the nobles. You must have permission to enter from the two kingdoms and let them always keep track of your movements. Otherwise, you will be considered a spy or a traitor. The day passed quickly. The two of them spent the whole time moving between the markets and the famous areas of the city. It was to expand their horizons about the customs and traditions of another kingdom more than just tourism, but they enjoyed their time a lot. Just before sunset, John suggested that they go to the biggest restaurant in the city to order some dishes. Caesar was somewhat surprised by this. As now a ninth-level cultivator, he could normally spend a few days without any food, but John reasoned that they should try the local food of the kingdom since they were here. Within a few minutes, they asked some passers-by and were able to reach the largest restaurant in the city, consisting of a few floors and adorned with bright colors, just its shape befitting its reputation among people. Strong-hearted by having a lot of coins to spend, they headed towards the top floor directly. After they were seated, John ordered almost everything from the menu. People of their strength could swallow large quantities without a problem. And indeed, he and Caesar quickly cleaned the table of what was on it completely, not even a single bone left on a plate. John laughed contentedly. Ha! As it is expected from the most famous restaurant in Dolliver. Everything was so delicious. Waitress, bring the bill. A girl dressed in a uniform came up and bowed. We're glad you liked our food, sir. Please come back again. Your account is 734 gold coins and 60 silver coins. Why dash? John was shocked hearing the number. Are you sure, girl? This was just food. We didn't order any treasure. That? I'm not wrong, sir. You ordered dishes containing high-quality beast meat and oils. When the digestion process begins, you will feel changes in your physique. It will be a little stronger and flexible. So the food is a bit expensive. John did not know what to say. This price is enough to buy a high-level weapon from a decently famous blacksmith. He indeed was wrong to rush to order all this food without asking about the prices. But isn't that still too much? No problem. Uncle John, waitress, we don't carry that much with us. We're just walking around. Can you send the bill for the Burton family's residence? We're the kingdom's guests at the next tournament. Caesar stated then, took out an identity card. When the girl saw this, she sighed. Looks like there will be no problems for me today. Then she smiled. Of course we can send the bill there. No problem. I just need your signature here. Then she reached out her hand for the bill to be signed. Ha ha, and I was wondering which beggar came to disturb our good atmosphere. It turns out to be the Burtons' trash, ha ha ha. Please go ahead and sign the bill for your Baba to pay for you. I bet he'll hit you when you get back, ha. A loud laugh resounded upstairs in the restaurant, causing Caesar, who was holding on the pen, to stop in the middle of the signing process and look in the direction of the sound. In that direction, there was a large table that included dozens of young men and girls, and at its head was a young man that shines with pride and strength. But the one who spoke earlier was of those who were sitting close to the head. He was a young man with black hair and sharp features, wearing shiny armor, and in his lap, a girl was sitting and looking at Caesar with contempt. And what are you? Caesar raised an eyebrow and quietly asked the person who spoke. From the Burton family and at the 9th level. You are that Caesar, right? The young man asked with obvious disgust. That's right, and you don't deserve the honor of seeing me here. And you don't deserve the honor of being in the kingdom in the first place. I don't know what the Black Sun King was thinking when he nominated a mere Earl family's offspring to compete with us. TSK, I really feel sorry for the Black Sun Kingdom. They ran out of talents, so they brought clowns, haha. The young man laughed out loud, and everyone sitting at the table followed him. Even the young man at the head seat smiled slightly. The presence of Caesar was really strange. The means of long-distance communication were not good at all. Just the most important news was exchanged with great distress by a series of spies that could be arrested at any minute. No one here knew anything about Caesar. But of course, they knew that this was the first time in history that one of the 8 kingdoms brought the offspring of an earl family with him, and one in level 9 at that. No one could explain this. Is the Black Sun King showing contempt for them? Or is his kingdom really became useless? In all cases, the presence of a Caesar was painful to the eye. Oh, you said a lot of nonsense, but you still don't want to tell me your name? Looks like you're afraid I'll target you in the tournament. It's okay, I understand that. Caesar chuckled. Foolish. My name is Michael Tinley, son of Duke Tinley of the Kingdom of Dolliver. You say you want to target me? Aren't you afraid the cat will eat your tongue? Aren't you afraid that you can't get out of here alive? The last sentence he said slowly. Michael then rose from his seat and extended his hand to hold his sword. Caesar stood up as well and was ready to fight at any minute. At this time, a slight laugh came from the side. It was the person at the head of the table. Sit down, Michael. No matter how much of trash the guest is, he is still a guest in our kingdom. Or do you want people to say that we are bad hosts? Caesar stopped in his place upon hearing those words, and John, who was walking beside him, tried to push him to continue moving forward while whispering in his ear, "Please keep moving. There's a bunch of geniuses at level 10, and those guards are much stronger than me." But failed in the end. He knew this won't end well. Caesar turned and looked at the person at the head of the table. "And calling your guests trash is considered a good hospitality here?" The young man frowned, but Michael raised his sword and spoke before him. "You don't appreciate kindness when you see it. Prince Henry Dolev himself has blessed you with his protection, but you dare talk back to him? What if he calls you trash? Aren't you really a piece of trash?" No, I am not, and I certainly don't need your prince's blessings." Or whatever that was. Caesar's fist started glowing white. "If any of you have a problem with me, come forward and fight it out with me. Don't hide behind the experts around you, and let your filthy tongues out at me. Where did you get that arrogance from? Do you think you have no equal under heaven, or what? Wake up, you idiot." The voices of those present began to rise with laughter and sarcasm. Their gathering was very boring, and they finally found something to have fun with. So how can they let it go? It seems that the Black Sun Kingdom has not only sent a trash, but a trash and an idiot as well. Just an earl's offspring. Do you know how many like you are there around the world? I could just kill you here and pay some compensation to your bullshit family. Michael began advancing towards Caesar with clear, killing intent, raising his sword to level with his chest. Caesar did not answer him and started walking toward him as well. When Michael saw it seen, it provoked him further. He raised his sword over his head and shouted, "Hiya!" and jumped toward Caesar to cut him with one blow. Just before the sword came down on his head, Caesar dodges to the left, then raised his right hand, which was glowing white, and grabbed his neck. Michael shouted like a pig being slaughtered, and the sword fell from his hand immediately. He tried to use his hands to push Caesar away, but to no avail. Hearing his sharp, painful cries, the rest of the young men and guards started standing one by one. Even the prince slowly stood up, his features turned ugly. One of them was in charge of protecting Michael. Tinley began to approach, with a look of extreme humiliation and anger. "Don't move," Caesar shouted and raised Michael up from his neck. His screams only increased. The guard was smart enough to stop in his place. He knows, well, he can kill Caesar easily, but the time he needs to start an attack may be enough for Caesar to cause permanent disability or even kill his master. If I'm just the offspring of an earl and a trash, blah blah, then what are you? I, Caesar, have the power to kill this clown with a thought, and I know I can defeat each and every one of you. Caesar completely ignored Michael's, who was still writhing and screaming in his hand, and started to speak calmly with the rest of them. Everyone present, whether the group of young men and their guards, or even the rest of the guests and the workers on the scene, remained silent. No one present dared to respond for fear that Caesar would get angry and kill Michael or maim him. And there was another reason. Even if they can respond, what would they say? The difference in strength between all the level 10 geniuses present and Michael was negligible. Some could beat him, but not overwhelmingly like that. So there was one question on everyone's minds. What the hell is going on here? Caesar continued, I realize that there are minor problems between the two kingdoms, but I don't care. I'm here to take first place in the tournament and go back to where I came from. Am I clear? Those present gritted their teeth, but didn't say a word, except for the prince, who couldn't stay silent any longer. You're obviously a little better than we expected, but do you really think that Michael is the strongest here? Do you think you can beat me too? If you are confident in yourself, come and try me. Caesar beamed a dark smile. The prince gritted his teeth, but he did not make a move. Try him? His strength was obvious. Even if he managed to fight at length with him, there was a fair chance that he would lose. If this happened, his prestige would collapse. He finally gathered his resolve. You want me, a prince, to fight you here? In a restaurant? What do you think the tournament is made for? Don't worry. We will fight sooner or later. Now, let Michael go. If you kill him, neither you nor your family can bear what will happen. Don't worry, I control my strength well to keep him conscious, screaming like the pig he is for as long as possible. But I won't injure him too badly. Even though he was so shameless, he doesn't deserve to die. Or does he? Robin chuckled and looked at Michael, who shrieked even louder. I'm ready to leave him, but give me your word as a prince in front of everyone present that I shall not be harmed until I return to the Burton residence. Prince Henry really wanted to order to slaughter him where he stands, but the son of a duke was not something he could disregard. If Michael's father knows what had happened, then with his position as duke and a huge Tinley family would put so much pressure on the royal family. If Michael dead under his watch and didn't do anything to stop it, then his chance of reaching the throne would be zero. All right, you have my word. When Caesar heard this, he did not hesitate and throw Michael on a nearby table. Breaking it, the person in charge of his protection rushed towards him at full speed. My lord. When it was confirmed that he had just passed out, he returned to look at Caesar and John, as if he wanted to devour them. But he retreated when the prince gestured to him. And then Prince Henry looked at Caesar. I hope you remain so arrogant after the beginning of the hunting event. I advise you to watch your back. Self-defense has become arrogance these days. A hunting event or whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's go, Uncle John. Caesar turned and headed for the door, ignoring the murderous gazes directed at him. Damn it. Prince Henry threw his cup to the floor the moment Caesar left. Hey you, how bad is it? Michael's guard bowed slightly. The skin around my master's neck has completely vaporized, sir, but his flesh and veins are fine. It's just an external injury that is not dangerous. After all this time he's been burned. The fire hasn't even touched the flesh? That Caesar let go the moment he was done with the skin? This, one of the more powerful guards voiced as everyone was silent. That's exactly what everyone was thinking. The amount of control over his strength is terrifying. Send him to the residence of the Duchy of Tinley to be cured. As for that Caesar, the prince looked toward the gate and gritted his teeth. Caesar, I hope you excuse me for not intervening. You must have sensed the level of strength of those guards. John Burton apologized. It's okay, uncle, I understand. But wouldn't you be better off just forgetting about it and leaving? Gaining the enmity of all these doesn't seem like a good idea, especially that prince. John was very worried about what had happened. Their place as an earl bloodline from another kingdom gave them no protection here. Why would I allow myself to be insulted? I can endure if my opponent is much stronger, but since he is weaker than me, why should I give him any face? John did not know what to say, since he is weaker than me. He had judged one of the princes of Dolliver to be weaker than him even before they exchanged a single blow. This kind of arrogance. By the way, Uncle John, how is the situation between the two kingdoms? It can't be too bad, as we are attending a tournament here, right? Not bad indeed, but not too good either. We had a lot of small-scale wars on the borders over the years. The last and biggest one so far was about 15 years ago between Duke Evern from our side and Duke Tinley from theirs, but ended quickly with no one claiming any piece of the other's lands. Caesar raised his eyebrows. Many wars, with the last one being less than 2 decades ago? How is that not bad? John shook his head. It will take too much time to speak about the affairs between the kingdom. Forget about it. Just let's get back to the family residence as soon as possible before we get into another trouble. After a few minutes of moving at their top speed, the two of them reached the family residence. John immediately asked an audience with St. Billy and told him everything. This incident is really weird. Did you feel something? Maybe they wanted to measure your strength to make plans to deal with you. Billy looked at Caesar and asked, I don't know, and I don't care either. Whatever they throw at me, I will just burn it. Caesar shrugged. Haha, that's the spirit. Anyway, they wouldn't have exaggerated so much even if you didn't get Prince Henry's word. We are officially invited guests. You can go now and get ready for tomorrow. We will be going to the main city hall to hear the announcement about the tournament details. About this, we heard the prince say something about the hunting event, Caesar replied. Hunting event? Are you sure? It can't be. Billy quickly stood up and shouted. Is there a problem, Uncle Billy? Caesar furrowed. Uncle Bailey was always calm and steady. He rarely acted like that. No, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Go now to rest, and tomorrow we'll understand everything. Billy sat down and rubbed his forehead. Caesar didn't know why his uncle would act this way, but eventually he bent over slightly, then turned to leave. John was about to do the same when he heard Billy's voice. Not you, John. Stay with me for a bit. Billy waited until Caesar got out and closed the door. Then he turned his head to look at John. When I heard the story of what happened, I didn't hear your name once. Were you in the bathroom when this happened? Me? No. I was there. I just didn't try to interfere. John replied in a low voice. Are you an idiot? Billy raised an eyebrow. Excuse me. Are you an idiot? I kept quiet so as not to provoke the situation further. There were many guards much stronger than me there. You were appointed as Caesar's guardian. You didn't go out with him just to enjoy beautiful sights and eat at his expense, you fool. You were supposed to stand in front of Caesar from the first word spoken and try to calm the situation, and if he didn't calm down, you would stand to die until Caesar was given a chance to escape. But you were silent because you didn't want to agitate the situation. The situation was already raging. Listen, you were given this opportunity thanks to your relationship with Robin, and I will absolve you of punishment this time because of your relationship with him too, but it will be the last. Get the hell out. Billy pointed to the door. I realized my mistake. John bowed and then walked out of the room. A few hours were nothing for a cultivator. The time of the gathering where the details of the tournament would be officially announced has approached. Most of those who had come on the Burton expedition, including their St. Billy, gathered together and headed straight for the main city hall. The roads of the capital were now brimming with life as all those experts passing through them, with also thousands of mortals and weak cultivators lining on both sides of the roads to catch a glimpse of one of those legendary figures. After about 20 minutes, the Burtons arrived at the hall. It was a huge golden dome with many entrances and surrounded by heavy security, checking the invitations of anyone who wants to enter. And by chance, one of those that were waiting to check their invitation now was the group of the royal family of the Black Sun Kingdom. Oh, Your Highness, I didn't expect to meet you now, haha. Bailey laughed loudly and led his group towards the royal families. This was Prince William Marley, one of the oldest and most powerful princes in the Black Sun royal family. Billy Burton. Hi. The man smiled slightly, then turned to look straight forward again and yelled, Is your damn check over yet? One moment. Patience is good, the chief of the guard said with a smile. And, done, you can come in now. See? There was no need for nervousness, Bastards of Dolliver. Prince William spat on the ground and entered with his group following him. The chief of the guard laughed in a low voice and then looked toward the Burtons and asked with a smile, Who's next? We are the Burton family from the Kingdom of the Black Sun. That's our invitation. Billy took a few steps and passed a scroll to the guard's head. A very good-looking scroll. Let me see if it is real. The chief guard giggled and turned around and then threw the scroll to one of the guards next to him. If it's real, do you think another saint would be free enough to impersonate me just to enter and hear the details of a tournament between the juniors? The guard leader's words were illogical, but Billy tried to keep as calm as possible. Are you trying to use your power as a saint to pressure me? It makes me doubt you even more. Wait here while I finish checking. You. Billy nearly grabbed the man by the neck, but one of the old men standing beside him grabbed his hand and gestured to him to look at the gate on the left. There was a duke's expedition from the Kingdom of the Black Sun trying to get it too, and they were treated in the same humiliating manner. But when he looked to the right, he found that no one else was stopped at the gates. Anyone from any other kingdom could cross just by showing their invitation. It was extremely obvious that they were targeting them. Billy finally understood what his uncle wanted to say. What was happening now was aimed at the Kingdom of the Black Sun. It was the royal family and the dukes who had to respond, not an earl's family as small as them, or else the consequences would be dire since they are just guests in a foreign land. So, as long as the rest go along with the wave, he must act like them. Half an hour passed by standing in the sun. The invited families from the rest of the kingdoms entered one by one without stopping for a moment. Even the Duke's family from the Black Sun entered about 10 minutes ago, but the Burtons were still standing to the side. Bastard, are we here to be offended? One of the elders could no longer bear the humiliating stance and shouted, No offense, sir. This is just a routine. The head guard smiled. We have been standing for nearly an hour. The announcement will be made in a few minutes. Oh, I think you're right. Well, you can go in now. What about routines and verification? Billy replied in a calm voice, but a faint killing intent could be detected. You can say I'm in a good mood because you all stood obedient, haha. You can go in if you want. Billy paused for a moment, looking at the chief of the guards, thinking of all possible ways to kill him, but eventually sighed, Follow me. The large expedition entered with their heads lowered, gritting their teeth after the humiliation they had seen, but all those present were wither strong or held high positions in the family, so they were able to calm their anger. The hall inside was very spacious. It was divided into 8 main areas. Families from each kingdom gathered in their allotted part. After a simple survey, Billy managed to find the corner of the Black Sun Kingdom, but it was completely full. There was no room for anyone from the Burton family to sit. They went too far. One of the elders shouted when he saw this. What do we do now? Just stand here like clowns. Billy didn't know what to do, whether to just keep standing up or leaving the place in anger would count against them. In the end, he had to choose the better of the two. He was about to curse the people in charge, then rushing out of the hall, when he heard a voice. Oh, Caesar Burton, come on, bring your family and come here. He ordered a few people sitting next to him to stand up to hand over their seats for the Burton elders. The whole Burton party looked in the direction of the voice. It was the voice of Felix Bradley, the head of the Bradley Military Institution where Caesar was studying. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief and headed toward him. When they arrived, Billy nodded at Felix. Thank you, Sir Felix, you saved us from a really embarrassing situation. Thank you, Headmaster. Caesar bowed slightly. Haha, no need. It can be said that we have some ties now. Come sit here and let the young fellows standing up exercise their legs a little. Billy didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Exercising their legs? Even before the Burton family arrived, there was little space for the Black Sun Kingdom, and many of them were already standing. Sir Felix, what's going on here? Why are we being treated like this? Billy approached and asked. I don't know either. There have been conflicts between us and Dolliver at the borders for a long time, but it shouldn't be the reason for this treatment. These kinds of small wars happen everywhere, and it never affected the political relations between the kingdoms to such a degree. It also baffles me why they use the 8 Kingdoms tournament to suppress us. It should be a way to ease the political tension, not to raise it. Don't they know that the days are turning? Soon it will be our turn to host the tournament, and we will make them drink from their own cup. Strange. Very strange. Felix shook his head. All the countries that have common borders have some conflicts, but they have common interests too. An insult like the one that is happening now has no logical explanation, for now at least. It doesn't matter now. Carry on until we return home. His Majesty will decide our reaction then. The last word from Felix was barely finished when a voice echoed. Welcome everyone to Dolliver. It's an honor for me, Joseph Dolev, to be in charge of hosting you and announcing the course of the tournament. As you all know, each tournament has a different set of rules that the host kingdom will decide. And for this tournament, we decided that it will be made up of only 2 stages, one to eliminate most of the participants and the other to reveal the final ranking. As for the first elimination stage, It will be the hunting event. Of course, you all know what it is. The second and final stage will be one-to-one combat between elimination survivors via the board. Any questions? Mark smiled and looked around calmly. The overall situation in the hall was quiet. Some were nodding and smiling, some frowned, some stated small chats. But there was one exception. Everyone in the Black Sun section stood on their feet, not believing what they heard. Finally, Prince William, head of the royal expedition, shouted, "What did you just say? What do you mean by the hunting event? Why haven't we been told beforehand? Oh, the messenger hasn't reached you with a warning? Maybe he got sick on the way and died." Mark raised his shoulders. All the humiliation today is on one side and what happened now on the other side. You really are wonderful, Dolliver, wonderful. I hope you remember this well in the future. Let's go. Prince William shouted and turned to leave. His expedition went out right behind him, and soon all the expeditions of the Black Sun followed. They all looked extremely angry. Caesar did not understand anything. This was very similar to the reaction of his Uncle Billy when he mentioned the matter to him as well. But when he looked around, he found that the expeditions of the rest of the kingdoms were behaving normally, as if they had not heard anything. As they walked out of the hall, Caesar turned to Billy and asked, "What's going on, Uncle? Why is everyone acting like this? What exactly is the hunting event?" The hunting event is where you enter a large piece of land full of beasts ranging from the 8th to the 12th level. Those beasts are usually held in captivity and are starved. You can imagine how dangerous that place is. Bailey replied, "What's the problem with that? Why are we the only ones acting like this?" The problem is that the participants will not enter alone. Each of them is entitled to take 5 followers inside. Those followers must also be at the 10th level or less. Those 5 followers can be friends, servants, slaves, or even elite soldiers in the army. Anyone who isn't a noble would do. What? This time, it was Caesar who lost his calm. Why would followers be allowed in? Isn't this supposed to be a competition between geniuses? Of course, there must be some followers to grant the main participant life. Or what would you do if you were alone and saw a level 12 beast, for example? At least you can have those followers die for you. Listen, the hunting event, in particular, isn't a competition between the main participants. It is a competition in the readiness of the royal families and their duchies, the cooperative work between each participant and his followers, the cooperative relations between the families of each kingdom, and of course, the possibility of providing many genius followers that aren't of noble blood. In this case, the role that the main participants play is marginalized. In some sense, it is a competition between the kingdoms, not between geniuses. This hunting event was only held 7 times over the last 2,000 years, and each time the participating kingdoms were notified months in advance so that they could gather the needed followers and organize their ranks. But they did not send us any warning. This, in addition to our Burton family, the Black Sun Kingdom sent the representative of the 9 duchies and the royal family. That means we need 55 genius followers at the 10th level in total. Where are we going to get that number quickly? Finally, Caesar realized the problem. Why do you think everyone is so agitated? The distance between here and the Black Sun Kingdom is so vast to get there in time, we can't even ask for support because the first event always starts 3 days after the announcement. Come on, let's see what the prince has to say. Outside the hall, all the expeditions of the Black Sun began to gather to see what they were going to do. We must immediately withdraw from these shameful competitions. I agree. No one will say a thing if we leave now. Yeah, let's get out of this damn place. We will have our revenge for this insult later. His Majesty has to know what is going on here. Enough, Prince William shouted, and everyone went quiet. The hunting event itself is a bad omen. Every time a kingdom offers to host it, something bad happens after that. We can't leave and clear the stage for them. But we don't have any good followers. Your Highness, we can't send our youths inside without protection. You must know how it is easy to die inside. And with their behavior, I fear for our geniuses even more. Everyone nodded their heads. No one here intended to compromise his family's genius. Go to the slave markets and buy every possible candidate. Also, try to hire some from the assassination and mercenaries agencies. Our goal this time will not be to win better ranks, but to survive. I know what you were thinking, but we have to stay and join in to see what's going on here, and also, the kingdom of the Black Sun never withdraws from anything, no matter the circumstances, said Prince William in an indisputable manner. Everyone present nodded seriously, and after some further side discussions, they began to disperse. The young men returned to their family residences, while the elders went to search for suitable followers. A day passed quickly. Nearly everyone from the Black Sun Kingdom was busy searching for candidates good enough to be followers. None of them slept or rested for a moment. They turned the capital of Doliver upside down. But the obstacles were everywhere. The assassination organizations were busy. The gangs refused to hire anyone, and even the mercenaries refused to cooperate. After a whole day, they were only able to gather 23 candidates, all of whom were at the 8th and 9th levels. The Burton family situation was the worst. During the whole day, they were able to buy one old slave at the 8th level. What we do now? If this continues, we will find one more follower in the next 2 days, said one of the Burton elders at the meeting at the end of the first day. We must withdraw. Caesar is our hope to go back to being a Marcosian family again. We can't sacrifice him to gain some face for the kingdom. Yeah, let the royal family and the duchies fend for themselves. We are still from a little earldom. Let's just go back to where we came from. No one will notice our absence. That's enough. Billy hit the table. His Majesty himself has nominated us, and the rest of the duchies have agreed. They put their trust in us to get good results. How can we fail their favor and leave? Calm down, Billy. It happens in every tournament. Each kingdom nominates 1 or 2 more participants outside of the duchies and royal families. It's not like His Majesty made some historical exception for us. That's right, His Majesty heard about Caesar's strength and was thinking of the kingdom's interest when he nominated us. Let's think about our own interests too. Knock, knock. What is it? Didn't I say no one is to bother us? Billy yelled at the door. He's in a really bad mood today. St. Billy. There are 2 young men standing outside the residence. They claim to have been sent here by Sir Robin Burton. What did you say? Robin sent us someone? What are you waiting for, you idiot? Get them in quickly. I'll go get Caesar. The voices of those present rose one by one with enthusiasm. They forgot that just moments ago they had already given up hope and were discussing leaving. A minute later, 2 young men entered the hall. One of them very handsome, tall with long hair and 2 long daggers on his waist, while the other was a little shorter, black-masked and one-armed, with a light sword tied behind his back. Who are you, and what are you doing here? Billy asked. Although he had seen Peon before when visiting Robin, he was also wearing a mask, and it's hard to identify him from just the similarity in body shape. I'm Peon, and this is Theo. We are both slaves of Master Robin Burton. We've been ordered to come and help young Master Caesar if he needs it. Although he knows Caesar came with a big expedition from the family, he still sent his 2 slaves to help him. That bastard doesn't trust us at all. One of the elders shook his head. I hate to say this, but wasn't he right? The 2 of them are level 9, although they are still weak compared to the rest of the kingdoms that brought level 10 followers with them. We can still use them to fill 2 of the 5 spots. Peon and Theo looked at each other. They didn't know what they were talking about. They came to meet Caesar and take orders from him alone. When Peon was about to interrupt the illusions of the old men, came a familiar voice. Peon. Theo, what are you 2 doing here? Who is protecting father now? Caesar entered with the elder who went to summon him. When he saw the 2 young men in front of him, he was very surprised. He left to the Burtons under Robin's command without saying a word for one reason. And it's that he knew Robin could turn Theo and Peon into monsters just like him. They should be able to serve and protect him in his absence, but now they both left too? Young Master Caesar, it was our Master Robin who sent us here to help you during your stay in the kingdom of Doliver. After you leave this place, we will both return to his side. Although Peon was surprised by the word father, he knew he meant Robin. That person was a walking miracle, and it's impossible to try to understand anything around him with common logic, so he decided to just go with the flow. This stubborn old man. Caesar gritted his teeth, although he knew that his father cared about him a lot, contrary to what he showed in his harsh treatment. But sometimes he wished he could just take care of himself first and forget about him. He is the one who is supposed to protect him, and not the other way around. The debt is getting heavier day by day. Whatever. I think the followers' problem is now resolved with you too. Let's finish that tournament quickly so you can go back to Father. Caesar sighs. I'm afraid the problem of the followers hasn't been solved yet, boy. We need 5, and now we have 3. Still, we're missing 2. And who knows, we might find a few slaves at the 10th level and excuse your friends here from participating. One of the elders replied. After getting 2 more places, they got a little bit hopeful. Now, the task is much easier. Send the person you bought to one of the other parties of the Black Sun. I will only be accompanied by Theo and Peon. What did you say? You are the hope of the Burton family. If we couldn't find you good followers before the event begins, you won't be allowed inside. Another old man shouted. When I was still with my dad, Theo was learning a heavenly law no less powerful than mine, and Peon being here with him means that my father probably gave him a heavenly law of his own too. In other words, these 2 are no less powerful than me. Do you still think that the 3 of us aren't enough? Caesar snorted. The attention of all the attendees immediately turned to the 2 young men again. After they announced that they were just slaves, no one paid much attention to them and thought they were cannon fodder that could be dispensed in the hunting event, but they both had the same strength as Caesar. Is this a joke? According to their assessment of Caesar's strength, he could exchange a few blows with someone at the 12th level and escape alive. If those 2 are the same, we're going to crush this year's tournament. Ha ha ha. Oh my God. Our Burton family will win the tournament, and one that will go down in history as having a hunting event too? This. One of the elders felt his heart about to stop. Quiet, Billy shouted, then looked at Caesar. I'm starting to get a little scared of your overconfidence. You do realize the differences between levels aren't very far, right? Especially in pre-saint levels, a single level difference can be completely forgotten in large-scale battles. 6 can or 7 people of the 10th level attack a person of the 12th level and kill him. Although you might be the strongest individually and will most likely sweep the second round of the tournament, there is still a risk to your life in the hunting event, even with these 2 with you. Don't worry, Sir Billy. Our master has given us talismans that can save young Master Caesar's life if the situation got too agitated, that in addition to us being with him, I can promise you that he will get out of there in one piece, even if it costs us our lives. This time Peon is the one who responded. What? It's impossible that you mean those talismans with the power of the 6th level. They will be useless against the beasts and cultivators participating in the event. Did Robin succeed in creating a new talisman? What is it? One of the elders jumped up from his place and grabbed Peon's shoulder. Everyone here was an elder or has a high position in the family. They all knew the secret of the talismans that Robin sells them. Sorry, my master didn't give us orders to reveal anything. He just told us to use it in time of danger. You can contact him in the future for more details. Peon refused directly, but he wasn't afraid to reveal the existence of the talismans. He knew his master was making these talismans to reveal them to the world sooner or later. The elder was about to say something when Billy's voice came from behind. Back off. Uncle, we wouldn't risk that Robin will become angry with us because of this, would we? The elder sighed and went back to his seat. Regardless of Robin's wondrous talismans, just his ability to create monsters capable of reaching advanced saint levels or even becoming sages makes his place in the family incomparable. Billy looked back at Caesar. Are you still adamant about not finding other followers for your team? Yeah. I doubt you can find someone who can keep up with us. Whoever you find will slow us down, and that will do us more harm. Forget it, Billy. It's not like we can find good candidates anyway. Those damn things from Delivar block every bath we think about, and there's nothing left but trash. I have an idea. Let's send the guy we bought to one of the other expeditions of our kingdom, and even look for more candidates for them. That would be a good way to make some connections with the ducal families. That's a good idea. I'm also very supportive of it. I totally agree. We can use this opportunity to get involved among the big families. The elders' voices rose. They had already forgotten that a while ago they were discussing letting those families act and leaving to protect Caesar. Hey, is there anything else you want from the 3 of us? Caesar asked. No, you can leave. During the next 2 days, focus on training and teamwork and coordination between you. All right, Caesar nodded and then turned to leave, taking Peon and Theo behind him. The vision of the three from behind made everyone present think for a few moments, until one of them ended the silence. If Caesar is right, and these two are as strong as him, I don't mind voting for Robin to become the family patriarch. Ha ha ha. Patriarch Brian won't like what you're saying. Everyone in the room burst out laughing. Actually, I don't think the patriarch would mind either. I agree with what Callie said. If their words were true, and Robin gets them to fight for the name of the Burtons as well, I would marry Robin to all my daughters. If he wanted my wife, I would give her to him. Someone shouted seriously. SHHHHH. Old fools. If Robin cared about the presidency and the mundane things, he wouldn't have left us in the first place. Have you forgotten that he was already a running candidate for the patriarch position when he left more than a century ago? If you want to link him to the family, think of other ways. Billy said calmly. Everyone present went into a state of thought again. It was a very emotional gathering. The other 2 days passed quickly. Most of the members of the Black Sun Kingdom are still in a state of frenzy. Not a single one of them has rested for a moment during the past days. And even at this moment, many of them are still scattered across the capital looking for candidates. They even started luring the citizens of Delivar with gold. But to no avail. But the very main members of each expedition, as well as the geniuses and the followers they had found during the 3 days, were now on their way to the launch site of the hunting event, while all praying that the rest would find other candidates before the last hour was up. The hunting event will be held this time at the Sewell Mountain region. Delivar chose this area because it's already packed with beasts of the desired levels. And 8 gates have been constructed in different spots around that area, so that the squads of each kingdom would enter from their own gate to prevent those who want to monitor and plot for the lives of others. This was one of the conditions of the event that was agreed upon 2,000 years ago. There was no fear that the geniuses of the kingdom would work for the benefit of a chosen person in order to falsify the results and raise that person's status. For the dukedoms are always in a state of internal competition at every time and place. And this kind of competition's main purpose is to boast about strength and superiority internally more than externally. Why would they try to help one of their own? And even if one of them tried to help another duchy's genius, that's okay too. If a duchy decided to surrender, why would anyone care? The first stage, only peruse, is to clear the weak, not for real ranking. After the hunting event was announced 3 days ago, the information of the gate locations of each kingdom was sent to the expeditions of that kingdom, and now they all began to gather in front of their gate. Each duchy tries to show off to the rest of their kingdom duchies the good followers they brought or their rare genius. But the same fighting spirit was missing in front of the gate of the Black Sun. 7 out of the 10 expeditions had arrived, and they were all busy together trying to assess the current situation. How is it going on with you? I found 4 so far. They are in the 8th and 9th levels. I got 3, 2 at the 9th level and 1 at the 10th level. We were able to find the needed 5, but not one of them at the 10th level. So we only found 4, and none of them is good enough. Prince William was standing in the middle of the group, listening to every word, and his features were getting worse after each sentence. No slaves, no Damascenes, not even the damn mercenaries. It is illogical that the capital of a strong kingdom like Delivar lacks a few cultivators of a good level. This is a plot from the beginning against us, so that we can't recruit anyone decent. So what to do? We can't send our youth inside to die uselessly. Just wait until everyone comes after we'll decide what happens. The prince replied calmly. There were still 2 duchies, and the Burton family hadn't arrived yet. He had hardly finished, and when the 2 duchies arrived, then the Burtons, then the last duchy. When everyone arrived, the prince started to speak again. Of course, I don't need to tell you how dangerous the situation is. Something strange is happening, and we are forced to go through it against our will. But the difference is that we don't have to follow the traditional rules as long as they don't abide by them. According to the rules, each genius must enter with his 5 followers and immediately start killing beasts, cutting and collecting tokens from them, such as one of the fangs or one of the eyes of each beast they kill, so that it is easy to carry and move with it. The hunting event will run for 3 days, and at the end, the ranking will be made based on the number of tokens that the team has and on the level of beast they got the tokens from. Even under normal circumstances, it is not easy. Entire squads have disappeared inside during previous hunting events and were said to have been eaten by the beasts. But everyone knows that those were often killed by other squads. Killing the other candidates for any reason is forbidden, but if there is no evidence, then there is no crime. Listen to me carefully. Pay attention to your safety first. Stay close to each other, and do not be ashamed to ask for help if there is a problem. Any one of you who refuses to help another in trouble will be severely punished, and none of you will be held accountable for bad results, even if you did not hunt a single beast. Youngsters, did I make myself clear? Listen to me carefully. Pay attention to your safety first. Stay close to each other, and do not be ashamed to ask for help if there is a problem. Any one of you who refuses to help another in trouble will be severely punished, and none of you will be held accountable for bad results, even if you did not hunt a single beast. Youngsters, did I make myself clear? Yes. Caesar and all the young geniuses in the group shouted. Good. And now we come to the embarrassing question. Do any of you have extra followers that you can give away? The prince averted his eyes from the geniuses of the younger generation and began to look at the elders. He knew that every squad present had around 3 to 5 followers, and they were all of the average strength. Who could give up one of them? Although he knew the ugly answer to the question in advance, he had to ask, Your Highness, we have 3 pluses we can share with you. Everyone, without exception, turned to the location of the Burton expedition, and the one who spoke now was Billy Burton. Billy, is what you're saying true? Have you managed to find 8 candidates in the past few days? It seems we are all useless, haha. A saint laughed at himself. No, Saint Timas will only send in 2 followers with our main candidate, Caesar. He's the one who asked for it, since these 2 are his old comrades. That leaves us with 3 suitable followers we don't need. Billy shook his head. Excellent. Though I still don't understand why you don't need them, but they would be of great use to some of the squads here. Thank you, Burtons. I think everyone here will remember your help today for the first time since this little gathering began. The prince smiled. We'll wait a little more to see if the elders will be able to get others before the appointed time. Then we'll go inside together. Everyone nodded and separated, each trying to rebuild their survival plans with their candidate and his followers, promising the slaves and mercenaries that if their genius came back alive, they would be rewarded by freedom and various other means. The minutes passed quickly, and the different elders began to arrive in succession. Most of them returned alone, shaking their heads, but some of them returned with relatively good followers, a total of another 4. In addition to the 3 from the Burtons, the 7 new followers were distributed equally, so that each squad had at least 4 followers, and the rest was distributed to the squads that only had followers at the 8th level to increase their chance of survival. Everything is ready. Let's go. Oh, is your meeting finally over? A few more minutes, and you would have missed the launch. An old man, standing in front of the gate of the Black Sun Kingdom, giggled. That man was the saint responsible for making sure only geniuses and their minions entered and that they met the conditions. Just do what you have to do, the prince replied angrily. Hey, well, let every genius come with his followers and announce the family he represents. The prince signaled to the group of youngsters around him, and they began to line up and stood before the elder. It seems you haven't prepared any good followers for the competition. Huh? You obviously trust a lot in the abilities of your geniuses, huh? The little Earl's family of yours brought in only 2 followers at the 9th level, and one of them has a missing arm? Ha, what confidence! I salute you. Just say if they're accepted or not, shouted the prince. Of course, they're accepted. You are lucky that there is no role for the minimum strength or maximum age for the followers otherwise. Tsh. When will the gates open? Prince William was already reaching the limits of his patience. He wanted to run to strangle that man and ask him what's going on here. Anytime you want. The hunting event already started about an hour ago. The sheik raised his shoulder. What? Move quickly. The prince shouted, waving to the geniuses and their followers to open the gate and enter it. After making sure that they all entered and disappeared from his sight, he went back to look at the elder in charge of the gate. Even the time you gave us was wrong? Ah, bastards of Oliver. I hope you disappoint me and nothing happens to our little ones inside, or else. Oomph. The elder giggled, but didn't say anything. Within the hunting area, each genius began to pull his followers and go his way. Even as the adults repeatedly told them to cooperate, everyone here has their own pride. The most they can do is help a genius from another squad if they accidentally find him in trouble. But sit together from the beginning of the exam to the end? This is unacceptable. Secondly, what could happen at all? What is happening outside the gates can be said that it's a political quarrel between those elders of the previous generations. But here the situation is different. They were all geniuses eager for success. Each of them wants to collect the largest possible amount of tokens. None of them should be as free for conspiracies and politics. Even the little prince, the representative of the royal family, nodded at the rest, then silently walked away, with 5 people behind him. Caesar also chose to leave with Theo and Peon. After a safe distance and making sure no one was around, Caesar looked at them. I think you're strong enough to kill most of the beasts here alone, right? Theo and Peon looked at each other, then looked back at Caesar and nodded. Caesar clapped his hands. All right, then we're also going to separate here, kill any beast you find, then cut off something from its body and keep it with you. This would be the quickest way to win this event. But just in case of any danger from those Dalivarian bastards, I will release a faint aura of a certain frequency. You must memorize it and not go out of its range. If one of you encounters a problem, rush towards me. And if I face a problem, I will increase the intensity of that aura. So you come and help me, understand? The 2 nodded again. Okay, then memorize this aura, well then go. A faint white color began to appear in the center of Caesar's forehead. Within a few seconds of checking it out, the 2 of them nodded again and set out on their new mission. But the way they took off shocked Caesar. Peon disappeared into thin air as if a small hurricane had swallowed him up, and Theo seemed to be dragged into the earth, more specifically, into the shade of a tree under his feet. This was the first time Caesar saw them in action. Even he couldn't tell which way they went. It seems that my father has spared no effort during my absence. Caesar giggled. Then he too took off at steady speed and in a straight line, not afraid that the 2 of them would break out of his aura range anytime soon. The aura could reach about 300 meters in any direction, and with the intelligence and ability of both Peon and Theo, they will definitely stay within range. The area was dense with trees, with several lakes and many huge terrains. In many ways, it resembled the beast zone in which Caesar lived most of his life, so Caesar had no problems moving in it. It was actually nice, as if he was hiking in his backyard. After only half an hour, he found the first beast on his way. It was a huge python of the 9th level. Usually, if a cultivator found a beast at the same level as his, he would think of escaping directly. The killing instinct of the beasts and their strong bodies made it difficult to deal with them. But Caesar moved in a straight line towards the python with his hand wrapped in a bright white cover. The python's fate was decided in just 2 attacks. The same scene was repeated with Peon and Theo at the same time. Fighting monsters from the 8th to 10th levels was simply no challenge. A full day passed like this. The 3 of them, in a circle with a diameter of 600 meters with Caesar in the middle, had managed to kill 11 beasts combined. One of those was at the 11th level, got killed single-handedly by Caesar. The closest squad to them collected tokens from only 5 beasts during the first day. The main reason for this was that no other squad decided to separate their members to increase the search area. Simply because separating in a place like this equals death. On a few occasions, one of the 3 would meet other squads. The members of those squads couldn't comprehend what they were seeing. Is this someone separated from his squad to work as intelligence? Or was his entire squad killed, and he is the only survivor? But well, no one cared. Meetings of this kind lasted for a second or 2 before one of the 2 sides continued on his way silently. In a large cave in a mountain inside the hunting area, 3 young men are arguing with each other, while behind each of them stood 5 very strong-looking soldiers. Can't we just move now? One of the 3 grumbled, a sharp-featured young man with a peculiar-looking scarf around his neck. He was Michael Tinley, the one who got burned by Caesar in the restaurant. I said no. We'll wait until the last day. and the rest haven't even come yet. Why? We are 3 geniuses with 15 expert warriors at the 10th level, who can hold off our group. Brother Phil, I'm afraid I agree with Brother Michael this time. Catching and killing those clowns from the Black Sun will not need the rest. We are more than enough. Do you think they will wait for us to pick them up? No one knows what might happen. We also don't want to kill everyone from the Black Sun Kingdom, but the goal is to kill the squads of the 3 duchies who are close to the border with us. Yvrin, Stanley, and Alton. Finding them precisely in the vast hunting area will not be easy. Even if we find a squad of those, we would need to besiege them to prevent any of them from escaping. The search circle is very large, and sieging about 6 cultivators isn't easy. Our number must be large during the search in order to complete the mission. We can go out now to chase, but in the best case, we can kill 1 or 2 squads. What about the rest? We have to coordinate with the rest, otherwise everything will fail. TCH, why all this trouble? Let's just destroy everyone we see from the Black Sun. We have to follow the instructions. I don't know the exact reason behind this mission, but I think it is a way to evade the 8 Kingdoms Pact. It seems that the elders are planning something big. We can't spoil something so huge just because you feel bored. Michael snorted and went to sit in one of the corners of the cave with his followers. Okay, I'll wait, but I have a request. What do you want? Phil narrowed his eyes. This person became unbearable. Caesar Burton? He must be killed. Michael's face seemed to transform, exuding a powerful killing intent. Phil knew the reason behind this question, but didn't bring that humiliation up to not provoke Michael further. The Burton family located inside the Duchy of Alton, which is one of our targets. I think your request is reasonable enough. After we finish the main mission, we'll take a little curve to get rid of Burton's squad as well. Are you satisfied now? I won't be satisfied until I rip his head off with my own hands. But, well, I'll follow your arrangements for now. He involuntarily put his hand on the burned area on his neck. I swear I will make you regret this. After about an hour, another squad arrived, and 3 hours later the 5th squad arrived. Then the 6th, the geniuses and veterans of Dolliver began to gather inside this ordinary-looking cave. Hours passed by as if it were years. The suffering of the various squads in the hunting area to find suitable beasts and cooperate to kill them is exhausting for the soul and body. Things didn't go smoothly with any squad because of the presence of level 11 and 12 monsters. All the teams struggled to escape from one place to another, and the biggest challenge was staying together even in escaping, for splitting up in a place like this meant their death. But this also made their perspective narrow and reduced their knowledge of their surroundings, makes them more vulnerable to stealth attacks from the beasts. This was even more true for the teams of the Black Sun realm. Some of the teams were already understaffed, and they all had people with low levels or poor fighting abilities in their ranks. And what was worse was that they weren't used to teamwork. For them, seeing any beast higher than the 9th level was a situation of life or death. During the 2 days, most of the teams from the rest of the kingdoms managed to reasonably save their lives. Most of them had lost 1 or maybe 2 followers since entering the hunting area. Only the Black Sun realm teams had lost over a third of their numbers so far. The only good news is that all the main geniuses are still alive. But even that was a matter of time if the situation remained as it is. The only ones who acted with ease of mind were the trio of Caesar, Peon, and Theo. This is the first time that the 3 find an opportunity to experience their new power in a real battle situation. Although Caesar has been in constant duel rounds around the kingdom since he separated from Robin, it was friendly fights on a stage, and under the eyes of the spectators, there was no danger to anyone's life. But now, Peon's immense speed combined with the wind blade, Theo's silent sneaking with darkness eroding daggers, and Caesar's brute strength with his unstoppable flames had finally shown their real fatal potentials. Already 2 days have passed since the event started, but the 3 managed to kill 32 monsters combined, most of them between levels 8 and 11, except for one time when Peon faced a level 12 lizard beast and lured it towards Caesar, where the 2 cooperated to kill him. This was a level 12 beast. If an entire real squad of 6 saw a beast of this caliber, they'd rather run away than bother to fight it. Rather, The only benefit of the level 12 bees here is to intimidate the squads and kill some of their members to add some heat to the show. No one was supposed to kill them. The three stayed within the diameter of the circle set by Caesar and met many squads during the 2 days. They could easily determine that most of them had collected tokens from about 14 beasts, a little more or less. Winning the first round was already in their pockets a while ago, but they're currently busy trying to discover more about their powers. An opportunity like this will not come every day. After the event ends, there will be a few one-on-one fights to determine the positions. Caesar would run amok in those fights and grab the number 1 position easily. Then Peon and Theo would return to help Robin and protect him. While Caesar will return to the routine he formed with the Burton family and bully the young geniuses of the Black Sun in peace. Everything will go according to the plan. Hopefully, in 22 hours from now, the hunting event will end.